Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios. That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
So. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there. Make it a good one. A ton to do today. 1 hour from right now, Sam Spiegelman will be with us. What a coup. Sam, National Recruiting Director for On3 Sports, had a chance to go on the record with Arch Manning, who did update his recruitment and mentioned LSU. We'll talk about that with Sam an hour from right now. Gordon McKernan will be with us in hour number 3. The big news with respect to the NCAA yesterday was the NIL inducements, the clarification of the rules. So what does that mean for LSU, their collective, et cetera? We'll talk about that with Gordon in hour number 3. And some NBA draft stuff with Bryan Kalbrosky of USA Today here at about 15 minutes from right now. Hope you're having a great day. Happy Tuesday to everybody. A ton to do. It is a baseball game day. LSU against Southeastern tonight out at Alec Box Stadium. Jay Johnson on his radio show last night did talk about the pitching plan for tonight's game. That's probably the most relevant piece of tonight's game.
Yeah, I mean, I have a pretty good group of, six guys that are available for tomorrow night. I have not decided on the starter. I actually had traded some phone calls back with Coach Kelly on the way over here. We wanted to talk about it and discuss it. You'll see, a couple guys that pitched this weekend. They're available still. And, you mentioned Bryce. He'll be in the mix, obviously, tomorrow night. Pitched great last Tuesday night. And I feel good about where we're at going into tomorrow.
Tomorrow, of course, would be tonight now. That was on Jay Johnson's radio show. A couple of guys who pitched over the weekend. He said maybe Blake Money. We did hear Jay Johnson say last week that Blake Money was a possibility to pitch in the midweek. Didn't. Then on Saturday, did not record an out. Maybe an opportunity to run him out there tonight, see if he can get some work in and get a little bit of that mojo back. Blake Money, I think, will be a really important piece for this staff in the postseason. When you don't have starters that are going to extend deep into ball games, you need a depth of arms that can get you outs and that can at times extend. Blake Money shown he can do that this year, just needs to find it. So LSU and Southeastern tonight. Not a great Southeastern squad. They've actually rallied in conference play. They're 12-9 in the league, tied for the lead in their league. But that's not a team that's in any way a threat to be a postseason at large. They're going to have to win their league to get a regional bid. So, 22-25 on the season. It's not one of those RPI opportunities where Southeastern's coming in, looking to bolster their resume. They got to win their league to get in. So it's not to say they won't try to go play a great game, but it's not going to be an all-in type scenario tonight for the Lions. All right, it's after further review. On Monday, we gave you an update on Jarvis Landry, and there were reports that Jarvis, and the Saints might be sort of rekindling their conversations. Well, Ian Rappaport of NFL Media Today reported that the Baltimore Ravens are interested in Jarvis Landry, and so the pursuit for Jarvis and a landing spot for him for 2022 continues, and where that may be. The Saints and Jarvis spoke before the draft, and obviously they did not consummate a deal. And then the Saints go out and they draft Chris Olave. And the point that I've made over and over about Jarvis, is going to be very clear, is I would be absolutely thrilled. I would be over the moon if the Saints did, in fact, sign Jarvis Landry. But I also think that if you're Jarvis, you realize there's better opportunities where you get more targets and potentially more money as well. That would just make more sense if it did play out that way. So, Rappaport reporting that that Jarvis has interest from the Ravens makes sense, because when We talked about this last week. The first two teams I mentioned that made the most sense for Jarvis Landry were the Ravens and the Falcons. And the reasons are kind of obvious. Baltimore Ravens, they trade away Hollywood Brown on draft night, and they didn't draft a receiver. If you look at last year, the Ravens' leading receiver was Mark Andrews, so their tight end was their number one receiver last year. Then pass catcher, Hollywood Brown, who's no longer there, and then Rashad Bateman. So you really don't have great options at receiver if you're Baltimore. You need it. Mentioned Atlanta. Kyle Pitts was their leading receiver, a tight end. Russell Gage was their second leading receiver. He's now in Tampa. And then their third was Cordero Patterson, who's actually played running back last year. And remember, Calvin Ridley is suspended for this entire season. So the Falcons need receiving options. The Green Bay Packers. Jarvis Landry was trending earlier with all the teams, and there's fans and reporters from different teams talking about who would make sense. The Green Bay Packers. Obviously, Devontae Adams is now a Raider. Valdez-Scantling is no longer there. So Allen Lazard is the leading returning receiver in Green Bay. Jarvis would make a lot of sense there for Aaron Rodgers. The Tennessee Titans, they traded A.J. Brown to Philly. Julio Jones is obviously still a free agent. Yes, they drafted Treylon Burks, but certainly Tennessee could use receiving help as well. So the point is, and continues to be, what I've said over and over, is that there's just better options for Jarvis, where he is going to have Jarvis Landry will have other opportunities to where he will have more targets and have an opportunity to probably to make more money as well. Because when you look at just the salary cap situation as well, New Orleans, if you look at Spotrac or over the cap, Saints have somewhere in the neighborhood of $17-18 million in cap space. That's not yet counting Tyrann Mathieu' contract. We don't know how that's structured yet. Those terms have not been released. So once those are released, then we'll know how much of a cap hit Tyrann will cost this year. But remember, you've also got to sign your draft picks, which is going to cost about $3 million to do. So if you look at 18 less 3, puts you at 15, whatever Tyrann's going to cost you this year, and you still would like to sign a running back, and you'd like to sign a tight end if that were available, maybe some defensive tackle help, and you have to leave yourself some room to be able to make those deals, and maybe you'd like to extend Chauncey Gardner-Johnson this offseason. So certainly you could backload a contract so you take a smaller cap number this year, but the point is they still have work to do. So it's unlikely they're going to take the remainder of their free cap space and spend it on a wide receiver, which is why you look at Jarvis and say there's probably better opportunities elsewhere for him. I do think that there are options for the Saints, though, if you're looking at wide receivers. And most of the market has dried up. I mean, just call it what it is. You're late in the process right now, and you're probably just talking about guys that are veteran players that are going to be looking for the best opportunity. I mean, you've seen some guys get big-time deals like Christian Kirk and Allen Robinson. Mentioned Marquez Valdez-Scantling, signed a $30 million contract in KC. Russell Gage got $30 million from Tampa. Good for him, right? I mean, a lot of those free agent receiver deals are done at this point. So, when you look at who's still available right now, the list is not very long and or distinguished. There are 70 players, but at the top of the list, if you look at Spotrac, they list Julio Jones and Jarvis Landry and Will Fuller and T.Y. Hilton and Cole Beasley and Emmanuel Sanders, who, of course, spent time with the Saints. I think you look at, and it's interesting that Emmanuel Sanders is there because I think that if you're the Saints is what you're looking for. You're looking for what Emmanuel Sanders was in New Orleans a couple of years ago. A guy who certainly is long in the tooth, is not in his physical prime anymore, but you're not asking to be a lead receiver. You're asking him to be a complement in the offense where Michael Thomas is your bell cow. And Sanders was that for the Saints a couple of years ago. I don't know that at 35 years old, that's really the direction that I would love to see them go. But that's an option. Julio Jones is 33 years old. My guess at this point is that Julio Jones is going to want to play somewhere where he has the opportunity to win. Maybe Green Bay is that spot for Julio Jones. He started 10 games last year in Tennessee, caught 31 passes for 434 yards. If Julio Jones came to New Orleans and was a veteran presence, good in the locker room, to mentor Mike Thomas, Chris Olave, and he gave you 31 catches for 434 yards, I would take that. For my number 3, I would take that in a heartbeat. T.Y. Hilton's 32 years old. He played in just 9 games a year ago, 23 catches for 331 yards. I would be inclined to take that from T.Y. Hilton as well, if you could get it affordably. The other guy that's sort of a wild card in all this is Will Fuller. Because of these veterans, he's the youngest at 28 years old. It was really an odd scenario where Will Fuller had been with the Texans and he went to Miami last year with the Dolphins and just played in 4 games. He broke a finger and then they put him on IR. And it's so weird because, they had Parker down there and they got Gesicki and they got a lot of really good options, but look at what they did. You bring in Tyreek Hill here in this offseason. You draft receiving help. I mean, they have really bolstered that offense. Teron Armstead obviously is there now as well. They've really bolstered that offense around too, and it's clear Will Fuller's just not part of their plans and wasn't a year ago either. So, he signed a 1-year contract a year ago. He's a free agent, and he may be a guy that in New Orleans, as a number 3, would make a lot of sense. So, they do have options. I understand where if you're a Saints fan, if you're an LSU fan, you're aching to see Jarvis Landry in New Orleans. I just think the way this is playing out, it's just clear. There's going to be other teams who need like immediate star receiving help, and Jarvis is going to have that opportunity somewhere else that he wouldn't necessarily have in New Orleans. And because other teams are a little bit desperate at this point, they're probably going to give him closer to what he wants financially than the Saints would be able or willing to do. So I do think the Saints still need receiving help and probably will add a receiver somewhere along the way. I just don't think it's going to be Jarvis Landry. All right, it's after further review. Bryan Kalbrosky is going to join us next. He's an NBA draft analyst for USA Today. His latest mock draft is out. We'll talk about what he's got the Pels doing at 8 and 2 picks in round 2, rather. We'll get to that. So 3 picks in all. And then also he's got Tari Eason just outside of the lottery. So we'll talk about that and Tari Eason ceiling, all that good stuff. NBA draft is inching closer. Y'all will talk about it with Bryan Kalbrosky next on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, just south of campus, Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Great night to get by Pluckers because it's an LSU baseball game night. So if you're heading out to the box to watch the Tigers and the Lions, before you go to the game, grab a bite to eat at Pluckers. That Nicholson location is just south of the box. So if you're at Alec Box Stadium, you come up to Nicholson, you make a right, boom, Pluckers is right there on your left. So before the game or after the game. Remember, Pluckers is open till midnight or later every night of the week, so you can eat great even late. If you're going to be watching the game at the house tonight, maybe a little LSU baseball, some NBA playoffs, some Major League Baseball, you can always get your wings to go or delivered. Uber Eats, DoorDash, punch up the app, Pluckers to fly. It's Nicholson just south of campus or Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Remember, every Tuesday, kids eat free, and our buddy Hunt Palmer hosts sports trivia starting at 8:30. So watch some baseball, play some sports trivia, make it a night at Pluckers. We're feeding like our wings. We'll give you the bird.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an Auctioner care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, rolling along. Glad to have you aboard with us here. Trying to link up with Bryan Kalbrosky, talk a little NBA draft. Earlier today, had a little birdie whisper in my ear that a former LSU baseball Tiger was going to get some good news, and that is now official. The St. Louis Cardinals have put it out there officially. It is now official that the St. Louis Cardinals have called up Kramer Robertson. So the infielder who had been with Memphis, the AAA club, is now officially a member of the St. Louis Cardinals. Shortstop Paul DeJong has been optioned to Memphis down to AAA. Kramer will wear number 35, that officially from the St. Louis Cardinals. So congrats to Kramer on the call-up. That's just phenomenal news. Kim Mulkey, of course, was earlier today, was supposed to be at a speaking engagement, and hurriedly was hustled away from there to get up to St. Louis for the signing, and then obviously for Kramer, which we hope will make his debut tonight. Interestingly enough, the Cardinals are at home tonight against the Orioles, and former LSU pitcher Ben McDonald is actually on the television broadcast for the Orioles. So Big Ben in St. Louis will be, provided Kramer makes his debut tonight, Big Ben will be in St. Louis for Kramer Robertson's debut, big league debut. So really cool. Congrats to Kramer, man. He's worked really hard and was a great former Tiger, and awesome to see him. It was one of the ones we predicted this year would hear his name called and get called up to the show, and we hope he makes his debut tonight, if not tonight, sometime in this series. We are still a couple of months away from the NBA draft. Certainly the draft lottery is coming up as well, but it's a mock draft season. It's always interesting to see what the Pels are pegged to do and what LSU guys might hear their names called. Bryan Kalbrosky of USA Today is good enough to join us for a couple of minutes now. He's got a mock draft out up at For the Win if you want to go check it out. Bryan, thanks for the time, man. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? I appreciate having me on.
It's absolutely my pleasure. I want to start with the Pelicans because there's just this renewed life and interest, and especially when you're talking about a playoff team that's going to have a top 10 pick, that's literally unique in this season. So let's talk about the draft class as a whole and what type of talent and quality is going to be there in the top 10 that the Pels will have to choose from.
I definitely agree with you, and I think that they're in one of the most unique situations and one of the most exciting situations among all the teams in the draft. And I think that, they were able to really, I mean, listen, I'm from Los Angeles, so pretty easy for me to look at it and say this, but maximize the value for Anthony Davis in so many ways. I mean, I think just looking at the players alone, there are probably folks who would definitely rather have Brandon Ingram than Anthony Davis right now. So having all of the picks plus, the Josh Hart move that turned into CJ McCollum and all of that has just been a phenomenal haul. And I think that, when you look into this and you see, what they're going to end up with, I mean, shoot, if they end up with a top 3 or 4 or 5 pick in this class as well, from the Lakers, that would just be, the icing on the cake considering how much they've already gotten from him. So I think in terms of the draft class and what kind of value might be available at their range, we'll see where they end up, right? But right now, I actually do have them picking Jeremy Sochan from Baylor, who is one of my favorite prospects in this class. And, he's somebody who I think, fits a fairly similar model and mold to the kind of guy that the Pelicans added over the last draft class, in Trey Murphy, Jose Alvarado, and Herbert Jones. And just that, he's a defensive player who kind of flew under the radar for a little bit. And now he's going to be a potentially high-level contributor. Jeremy would be a one-and-done prospect, so it's not quite the same thing because, those guys were a little bit older than I just mentioned. But realistically, I think that the ability to add somebody who's able to get on the floor with his defense right away is something that clearly, Griffin and the front office in New Orleans seems to value. And I think that, you look at, the way Herbert contributed right away and the way Jose has contributed and all of that, I think that, we're hopefully New Orleans continues to add defensive players. And I think when they do that, they're going to be, an even more competitive team for years to come.
Is Sochan a guy that you would peg to New Orleans because not only have they lean defense, but they really don't look, you could always use offense. Obviously, I'm not going to mistake that. But when you look at CJ McCollum, NBI, and Valanciunas, and you're going to get Kyra Lewis back from injury, they're going to have to share the ball already, and maybe there's not another spot for I didn't even mention Zion coming back as well. That's why you lean defense, because you have enough offensive options already?
Yeah, I don't disagree with that by any stretch. I think that, Jeremy wasn't placed in New Orleans on my mock draft to New Orleans because of where I have him ranked. It's not like it was he's my 11th ranked guy, he's going to go to the 11th pick. No, I think it was a very intentional pick. I think he's the guy who might do the best with a low usage rate among the lottery talents. And I think that that's a huge part of what you need from any NBA player right now. I think that there's a lot of guys that I might be lower on that might be surprising in my latest mock draft in terms of where they fall, whether it be second round or going back to school or what have you, because I look at them as high volume guys who I don't think will be able to do as well playing off the ball in the NBA. Sochan is not somebody I feel that way about. Another guy that I probably would look at, in a slightly different role than Sochan, but in a similar-ish type of usage rate would be Duke's Mark Williams. He played with basically 5 NBA guys at Duke, with Paolo Banchero and Wendell Moore, I think AJ Griffin and, all of those guys who are going to be, playing in the NBA potentially for years. He was able to make an impact with high efficiency on offense and high impact on defense without really needing the ball. And, I think that New Orleans has a, fairly good front court right now, especially for those who think that Zion's more of a 4 or 5. I don't know what position Zion is, but, if he's in the front court, someone like Mark Williams probably isn't necessarily going to get playing time in that unit. But ultimately, I like guys who project well to make an impact even if their usage rate plummets, because that's typically what happens to first 4-year players.
Point Zion is a pretty popular phrase here, but we haven't been able to use it for a year. So hopefully it gets on the floor next year. We could figure that out. It'd be a good problem for New Orleans to have. Bryan Kalbrosky is with us from USA Today, talking a little NBA draft. The Pelicans do have a couple of second-round picks. Help walk me through this. You got them taking Vince Williams out of VCU, and then an international player with the second of their second round picks, Gabriel Procida out of
Italy. Yeah, Italy.
Yeah,
We'll call it Italy.
Go ahead. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I know anything about international players. So, what would the Pels be targeting with those two players in round 2?
Yeah, so listen, I think Vince Williams is the second round version of Jeremy Sohan. He is somebody who I think has been maybe the most underrated player in mock drafts recently. I'm not entirely sure why ESPN hasn't really been including him on their big board. I think if they do have him, he might be in like the 80s or something. I don't get it. If you look at any of the like filters of guys who have high like this threshold of defensive rebound rate, steal percentage, block percentage, 3-point attempt rate, and assist rate, all these things that really translate to NBA success. You see exclusively NBA guys who made it in the pros, guys who've had success in the pros, and you see Vince Williams pretty much every time. There's kind of a precedent to me of someone like Vince Williams succeeding in the NBA, and frankly, it reminds me of Herbert Jones, where it's just like, okay, this guy's going to come in and do his job and play at a high level, and he's going to defend first and foremost, but he's still a plus playmaker, and he's a willing shooter, even if he's not a 45% shooter. He's not going to be a non-factor from beyond the arc. All of these things are what NBA teams are looking for. So I'm probably higher than consensus on Vince Williams Jr. But I think that, he's got a plus wingspan, kind of like Herbert Jones too. So he's a lengthy guy. And, I think that he just got an invitation to the G League Elite Camp. I think he's by far going to be the best player there. He's not going to necessarily be somebody who's going to score 30 points during 5-on-5 scrimmages. But I do think he'll end up earning an invitation to the actual NBA draft combine when it's all said and done, because frankly, he has the most upside, I think, of those guys there. So G League Elite Camp definitely has some interesting names. And I think that he and Kevin McCullough out of Texas Tech are the two biggest ones for me. But ultimately, I think that Vince is somebody who is going to have an NBA career. I think New Orleans is a destination just for the exact same reasons that I outlined before for Sohan that it would for Vince. And, I think for international picks, New Orleans is going to have to take a few of those over the next 2 years because they have, such a surplus of draft picks coming in.
Mm-hmm.
They've done a really good job with asset management in that sense. And I think when you look at, some of the needs, you look at someone like Zion Williamson, it's like, well, surround that guy with shooting, you've got a nice little team right there. And that's sort of what Gabriel Procida is most known for, is being a floor spacer. So he's not necessarily somebody who we'll see right away. But, we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening with a guy like that because, the international game is competitive and he's played well. He's a, highly regarded prospect in the international scouting communities. And, it's a pretty weak international draft class, actually, as well. So I think that I might only have 2 or 3 international guys in my first round. And I think I only have 1 in the lottery, which, typically is a little unusual. I think, especially as we've seen so many of the best players in the NBA be international guys recently.
Sure.
I don't know if it's because COVID limited our scouting opportunities for guys to get overseas and maybe discover some of these guys because of travel restrictions, or if it's just a weird thing where guys born in whatever year you'd have to be born to be in this class just didn't materialize in the same way. I'm not sure. But it's a relatively weak international draft class so far based off of what we know. Granted, of course, somebody's going to come out here and be the next Giannis if I'm saying this, but I don't know who that is at this point.
Bryan, before you go, let me also ask you about our audience. Obviously, will be keeping a close eye on Tari Eason as well from LSU. One of the more remarkable stories, man. The guy was just kind of a bench role player for Cincinnati, comes to LSU, becomes the 6th man of the year, and looks like he's going to be a lottery pick. You have Tari Eason 16 to Atlanta. Why is that a fit?
Yeah, I mean, you look at Atlanta and you see defensive liability in the backcourt with Trae Young. I think that Tari might be the best, perimeter defensive player in this class. His block and steal rate are truly historic in terms of what he just accomplished at LSU. I think that, again, kind of talking about similar guys in terms of what I like in prospects. For all the reasons I mentioned that I like Jeremy Sokan and all the reasons that I like Vince Williams, I mean, Tari's got all of that and more as well. I can see Tari being a lottery guy, and I can see Tari being a legitimately good fit, for the Pelicans. So I am curious from your guys' perspective if that's something you guys have been talking about recently. But, I think that he would slide in really well over there for his defensive upside. And, I think that, he's efficient. He's able to shoot a little bit. He's a willing shooter. He's a ferocious dunker. He loves to dunk. And really, I mean, that block and steal rate, that combination of those two things pretty much has never been done in college basketball besides maybe, like a Matisse Thybulle who, still young, but already in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year in the NBA typically. And I think that, Ethan does a lot of other things better than Thybulle does, including shooting and finishing at the rim. So I think that Ethan can be that kind of player in the NBA as well. And he's somebody who I'm really high on. And I feel, a little silly, coming out here being so positive about all these guys because, the truth is that most of these things don't work out. A lot of guys, you don't hear from too much after that. But I think in his case, he's somebody who could have a long career because, he does the things you need to do to stay on a court at the NBA level. I think he'll be one of the leaders in minutes among rookies next season by a big guess, just because defense is a huge part of, what allows for success at the next level. And I think, the same way we saw Franz Wagner be one of the leading minutes players for Orlando, and by that, honestly, the NBA, I potentially could see Ethan having a similar-ish impact in his rookie season. So, we'll see. But these are guys that I'm high on because I think they just fit the modern NBA. Good length, good size, willing shooters, and plus defenders. Those are things that every team's going to like, and I think those are guys that fit that.
He is Bryan Kalbrosky, USA Today for the win. Go check out his stuff there. Follow him on Twitter as well, at Bryan Kalbrosky. It's Bryan with a Y, Bryan. Bryan, we appreciate the time, man. I'm sure I'll bother you again sometime as we get closer to the draft.
It's not a bother. I appreciate it.
We appreciate it as well. Thanks. All the best. It's After Further Review. We appreciate Bryan. Good stuff there. Brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com. 29 different locations from 11 different states, sea to shining sea. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Y'all check them out online at Michelli.com. That's the best place to start, where you can find out the industries they serve, the type of calibrations, and all the different services that they offer. You can learn more, obviously, about ISO 17025 accreditation and their track system, which allows you 24/7, 365 access to all of your calibration certificates. That's going to make you more efficient, and maybe most importantly, is that they're local. They can still do business face-to-face. Look, sometimes they offer an on-site option. There's some equipment that can't leave your facility, or you don't want it to leave your facility. They can come on-site and calibrate for you. If it's service plates, welding machines, pressure or temperature gauges, Michelli's here to service you. Michelli.com, celebrating 75 years in business. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com. All right, y'all, that's After Further Review. We'll go around the SEC when we come back. Sam Spiegelman in 27 minutes from right now to start hour number 2. Arch Manning gave a rare on-the-record interview to Sam Spiegelman of On3 Sports. We'll talk to Sam about that in about 27 minutes from right now. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Before we begin any electrical work here, we perform a home safety check that begins at your electrical panel to make sure that you and your family are safe. For all your upgrades, installations, and repairs, call Mr. Electric.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but 2 NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, front-to-back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front to Back Boat Service.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
By the way, a lot of you have texted or tweeted asking over the last day or so about the podcast, the show. So, long story short, Muse, you fill me in if I'm missing anything here. We switched to a new podcast provider. So basically the show has its own RSS feed now. So instead of all of our shows being on the 104.5 ESPN feed, if you want to listen to After Further Review, you go subscribe to After Further Review on iTunes, Spotify.
Yeah, that's it. And we're working on more, obviously. But right now, Apple, iTunes, and Spotify.
All right. iTunes is Apple.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but it's technically Apple iTunes, right? Wasn't that the first thing that it was called?
It doesn't matter. But yes, so iTunes, Spotify, and our website, you can get the podcast. So please, that was, I'll shout out the person who just asked. It was Blake Genevieve who just asked. So yes, to everyone who's asked, thank you very much for inquiring. We'll continue to remind you, and we'll send out some links as well. Can you maybe make sure you're tweeting the links? You tweet the links anyway from the ESPN feed for the podcast.
I can, yeah.
Yeah, please do. Let's make sure we're doing that, so at least so people can know, and let's make sure we remind people to subscribe up. So, a lot of people choose to listen to the show on demand after the fact. Of course, AFR On Demand presented by Brett Golf. You can do that, but remember, go to, I don't even know, let's include the links, but do you just search?
Yeah, all you should have to do is search the name of the show. So, like, if you search After Further Review, it should come up.
Yeah, so not AFR.
Right.
All right, I'm doing it right now. Okay, yeah. All right. There's several After Further Reviews. There's a lot of After Further
We might need
reviews.
to add into the thing with Matt Moscona.
Wow. There's a lot of After Further Reviews.
Really? How many?
Well, this is.
And where does this one rank? Right now it's not going to be high.
Yeah, it's not going to be any.
Yeah,
oh, there it is.
right.
Okay, so if you, it's on there. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 6th on the thing. There's a ton of After Further Review podcasts, though. Like, I mean, that's kind of crazy. But I was first. All right. Been rocking this for 12 years. You going to tell me any of these podcasts have been around for 12 years?
They might. I don't know.
No
I
way.
don't know anything about them.
I don't think podcasts even were a thing 12 years ago. I mean, they were a thing, but not like this anyway. Not what it is. Not what it's become. So anyway, thank you. But go subscribe. Just search After Further Review on iTunes or Spotify. We'll make sure we share the links out as well. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad to have you aboard with us here. We do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Kentucky Wildcats.
Standout guard Adieu Thero has made his commitment to the Kentucky Wildcats. 6'5" guard, averaged 23 and 10 this last year. He entered the high school season with just one Division I offer, blew up, and now has a ton of them. Cincinnati, Maryland, Xavier, Kentucky, ultimately chose the Wildcats. His father, Almami, played for John Calipari at Memphis before transferring to Duquesne for his final year of college hoops.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Michael Musselman has been promoted to Director of Basketball Operations at Arkansas. Nepotism at its absolute finest. That, of course, is Eric Musselman's son. He's entering his fourth season with Arkansas. Michael Musselman will fill the role vacated by Anthony Ruta, who was elevated to assistant head coach. Michael spent the first 2 years at Arkansas as director of recruiting, added the title of assistant director of basketball operations prior to last season. He had prior also worked for his dad for 1 year as a grad assistant at Nevada. SEC baseball tonight. Really nice slate of games, big slate of games tonight around the league. You've got Bellarmine traveling to Knoxville to take on Tennessee in an in-state clash. Bethune-Cookman takes on Florida in Gainesville. Auburn hits the road tonight to take on Troy. Mississippi State also travels. They'll be at Samford tonight. Indiana State, they will visit Vanderbilt in Nashville. South Carolina hosts SC Upstate. Alabama also on the road. They're headed to Jacksonville State to take on the Gamecocks. And your Fighting Tigers of LSU, they're at home tonight as the Lions come over from Hammond to take on the Tigers. There you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal, our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products, a national leader among Savin dealers, but they will service all different makes and models. If you have issues with your office equipment, you need Gulf Coast Office Products. GCOPnet.com. That's GCOPnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale, dynamic collaboration. They're just the best. It's Gulf Coast Office Products. GCOPnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Official office equipment provider of the LSU Tigers, the New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, and the ULL Ragin' Cajuns. ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips. Well, let me back up because this is a little bit of a roundabout way that this has happened. Brandon Marcello, who formerly was of AL.com, I believe is now with 247 Sports. Brandon Marcello tweeted that Notre Dame basketball coach Mike Bray had a conversation with ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips. We following all this? And the tweet is that Jim Phillips assured basketball coaches today the Power Five is not going to break away from the NCAA, according to Notre Dame coach Mike Bray. So again, Brandon Marcello tweeting that Mike Bray told reporters that Jim Phillips told them the Power 5 is not breaking away from the NCAA. Did we get all that? Did I connect all the dots?
It's like the game telephone.
Did it make sense, though?
A little bit.
Maybe?
I don't know.
Do I need to fill in any blanks?
Can you do it one more time?
Yeah, so Brandon Marcello tweeted that Mike Bray told reporters that ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips told him, Bray, that the Power 5 is not breaking away from the NCAA.
Got it.
Got it?
Got it.
Get it. Good. Okay. A few very important notes. They may not break away today, but that certainly doesn't mean not ever. The other very important note is that Mike Bray is a basketball coach. I would not imagine that basketball breaks away from the NCAA. The NCAA has run a very successful, very lucrative basketball tournament for a lot of years. By the way, the current NCAA basketball tournament contract runs through 2032. It was set to expire in 2024. They added 8 years to the end. Those 8 years are worth an average of an estimated $8.8 billion. Hell no, that basketball ain't breaking away. They got $9 billion on the table through the end of this deal. That ain't going to happen until 2032 at the earliest. Don't mean football ain't going nowhere. Talk about that with Gordon McKernan in hour 3 as well. All right, it's after further review. Quick break. We'll wrap up hour number 1 when we come back. Sam Spiegelman in 15 minutes to talk a little bit about his one-on-one with Arch Manning. Stick around.
AFR.
Official supermarket of LSU Athletics, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. It is Rouse's, where this feels like home. Remember, at Rouse's, yes, they are proud to support the home teams. The New Orleans Saints, the LSU Tigers, but at Rouse's, they're also happy to support you however they can. Yes, they've got thousands of items in store. If you're doing all of your grocery shopping, or if you're looking to pick up dinner or that bottle of wine, they got great options. Maybe you're having a party and you want a charcuterie or a sandwich tray or any of those types of shareables. They can handle it all at Rouse's. Having a party, it's really a one-stop shop. But also remember, they have convenient delivery and pickup services for your convenience. Go to the app, select your items at the Rouse's app. They'll pick them up. When you show up to the store, they'll bring them out to you. They have delivery options as well. Learn more at Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. Rouse's. This feels like home.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has new 2022 Ram 1500 Bighorns in stock with 0% for 72 months. Shop our inventory or custom order your Ram with $2,000 bonus cash and a 1,000,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. It should taste like beer. More taste, 96 calories. Miller Lite.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Visit Acura of Baton Rouge for attractive offers on the MDX.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, wrapping up hour number 1. Talked to Sam Spiegelman less than 10 minutes from right now. Did a one-on-one with Arch Manning and did, in fact, talk about LSU and the possibilities of him landing in Baton Rouge. So we'll get to that coming up here in about 10 minutes from right now. A gigantic news in the football world today. Fox did announce that they've signed Tom Brady. Not a joke. Fox has announced it, that when Tom Brady's playing career is over, the GOAT will join Fox as their lead analyst. So he will be effectively what Tony Romo is for CBS, what now Troy Aikman will be alongside Joe Buck for ESPN. In losing Buck and Aikman, that tandem to Monday Night Football, Fox needed to make a play, and this is their play. So Kevin Burkhardt will be the lead play-by-play announcer, taking Joe Buck's spot, and Tom Brady will, when he retires, will be the lead analyst for Fox. Brady did quote tweet the Fox announcement and said, excited, but a lot of unfinished business on the field with the @Buccaneers, #LFG. We also learned that the deal is a 10-year deal. This is according to Schefter. 10-year deal, $375 million. Let me say that again. 10-year deal, $375 million. That averages out to $37.5 million per year. I'm not good at math, but even I know that, and that is really impressive. For a little bit of perspective here, the top quarterback salaries on average per year right now, Aaron Rodgers obviously set the mark at $50 million. Deshaun at $46, Mahomes at $45. Tom Brady is going to make $25 million this year playing quarterback. So Tom Brady, Jameis Winston, by the way, $21 million, right behind Tom Brady. Tom Brady is going to make more money as a broadcaster per year than he did as a quarterback. Not a bad gig. I will say, though, I am a bit surprised. Like, no joke. So many guys choose when they're done playing, especially when they played at that level, to either go into ownership or front office. Peyton Manning has never wanted to coach. He's done the Manning cast, obviously, but he's often talked about wanting to be in a front office or part of an ownership group. There's obviously examples in other sports. In football, you can look at John Elway, John Lynch. There are examples of guys who played at a very high level, then went into the front office for an NFL team. A-Rod has done that as well. Derek Jeter in baseball, obviously Jeter in baseball, A-Rod in basketball. Owner of the Minnesota Timberwolves. So there are those when you've made just exorbitant amounts of money, you become not just rich but wealthy. A lot of guys choose to do that. It's a little odd that Brady's going to be in the weeds, so to speak, the day-to-day grind. Maybe it just speaks to why he has such a hard time leaving the game and even when he's not able to play, he'll still be in sort of a game week routine as a broadcaster, being in a stadium every Sunday or Monday or whenever it might be, calling a game. So Tom Brady, he'll join Fox. Drew Brees, obviously, is with NBC. Romo with CBS. Continues the trend of great players transitioning to the booth. All right, it's after further. Now, when Tom Brady retires, that will be the really interesting news. It's after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us. Brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Blue Bond in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey and Lafayette. Online at theantiagingclinics.com. Remember, all this month, laser hair removal. Buy 2 treatments, get a 3rd free. Back hair, be done with it forever. Ladies, you want to never shave your legs again? Laser hair removal on your legs. You'll never have to shave your legs again. TheAntiAgingClinics.com. Blue Bond in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey and Lafayette, and online, TheAntiAgingClinics.com. All this month, laser hair removal. Buy 2 treatments, get the 3rd free at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. TheAntiAgingClinics.com. All right, y'all, it's after further review. Quick break. SportsCenter's coming up. When we come back, Arch Manning, the number 1 player in the country. Sam Spiegelman had a rare one-on-one with Arch. Sam Spiegelman joins us next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawbillsTire.com, bumper-to-bumper auto service, and name brand tires at wholesale prices. There are a lot of different places where you can buy tires. You know that. You can go to the box stores, the membership clubs, other tire stores. A lot of different places will sell you the rubber, will sell you the tire, but nobody's going to sell you the tire cheaper than Shawbills. And we're talking about the best tires on the road. Michelin, BF Goodrich, Bridgestone, Firestone. Bridgestone, of course, the official tire of the New Orleans Saints. What more could you possibly want than having the comfort and security knowing you're driving on the best tire on the road and you get it for the cheapest price possible? Go to the website, ShawbillsTire.com, hit the promotions tab at the top, and you'll see all of their current offers. And remember, they'll always work super hard to get you the best price, not only on the manufacturer offer, but also their in-house promotions as well. Ask about the Shawbills credit card. ShawbillsTire.com. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling.
The 2022 Smoke 'em If You Got 'em, presented by Mockler Beverage, is almost here. Smoke 'em If You Got 'em is an event that raises money to support military veterans and their families. Tickets are $100, and this year's event benefits the Special Forces Charitable Trust. Come enjoy live music, a grill station, a cigar station, a dessert station, a live and silent auction, and so much more. It's the 2022 Smoke 'em If You Got 'em fundraiser, presented by Mockler Beverage, Sunday, May 22nd at Ben 77. Learn more at smokeembr.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law offices of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This is Sportscenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Heat will be without starting point guard Kyle Lowry in a pivotal Game 5 against the 76ers tonight in that second-round NBA playoff series. He's out with a strained hamstring. After dropping the first 2 games, Phillies won the last 2 to tie the series up, with James Harden playing a major role in Game 4. But he doesn't have to put up 30 points a game the rest of the way for the Sixers to have a chance in the series, says ESPN's Tim Legler.
Maybe they don't need him to be that every night. Just don't be horrific, right? Don't be 3 for 17 with 7 turnovers. Can't overcome that because you have the ball too much. Just be at no worse than solid, because then Maxey can be maybe really, really good to great on that night, in addition to what you kind of know what you're going to get with Embiid.
ESPN NBA analyst Tim Legler on Greeny. Game 5, 7 Eastern, ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Buccaneers quarterback Tom Brady will join Fox Sports as its lead NFL analyst after his playing career is over. The New York Post reports he'll receive a 10-year, $375 million deal from Fox, making it the richest contract in sports media history.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. Let's ride.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt. I am sweating. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusu. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 1 hour from right now, Gordon McKernan will join us. I want to get caught up on LSU's collective, all the jazz, especially in light of the news from Ross Dellinger and Sports Illustrated yesterday about the NCAA, their NIL, clarifying their NIL regulations. So we'll get into all that about an hour from right now. Tip of the cap to our buddy Sam Spiegelman, longtime friend of the show. It is rare that we have heard on-the-record comments from Arch Manning about his recruitment, but with Newman opening up spring football, Sam Spiegelman got to head down to New Orleans there and chat with the number 1 prospect in the class of 2023, and Sam Spiegelman's good enough to join us for a couple of minutes here. Sam, thanks, man. How are you?
Doing great, Matt. How you doing?
Doing very well, man. Congrats. Good get here, getting Arch to speak. First and foremost, how'd you get? I mean, it's been rare that he's spoken. So how did you pull this off?
Yeah, I would say patience. He was competing for a state championship in football, then very quickly dived into basketball. I actually won a state championship playing basketball. Then, he kind of dived back into his recruitment. He took a couple of visits, and, it's always been kind of the policy. They're not going to do a media session after each visit. They're going to look at it big picture more so. And with the spring opening up, it just happened to be a good time to kind of reflect a little bit. And I think they're still kind of figuring out their own next steps. So it's a good time to kind of reflect and then finally speak to the media about it.
What was interesting, Sam, is you asked him specifically or maybe he commented specifically about 5 different schools. There's some specifics I want to get into, but was there any of the comments that he made specifically about a school in particular that stood out most to you?
I would say 3 schools definitely feel like they're contenders based on not only his comments, but his history of visits to each of those schools and the amount of time each of those programs have spent recruiting him. And first and foremost, Georgia raving about Athens, raving about Kirby Smart. I think that really stood out to me. It kind of checked a lot of boxes for Arch. Then you flip over to Alabama. Obviously, Nick Saban has taken a personal lead role in his recruitment. You had multiple Alabama coaches at his practice as Newman opens up for the first time in weeks. And then, Bryce Young, obviously not only NIL, but Heisman, best offensive player in the country, best player in the country possibly. And, he's not the first, Alabama quarterback to go in the first round in the last couple of years. And he spoke about that. And, people, obviously being based in Louisiana, people talk a lot about Austin and the connections between New Orleans and Austin as cities, and Art spoke about that pretty openly, and nothing that you wouldn't expect from, someone who's been there a bunch of times. People not named Arch Manning have called Steve Sarkisian one of the best, if not the best play caller in the country, and I think the spring game showed that. He had a good visit there about a month ago, and it sat well with him, and I think at this point, he's not ready to make a decision, but those comments really did stand out as, he's torn. I think that's pretty clear. He said if he would make a decision, he would have. I truly believe that if he was ready to make a decision, he would get this out of the way, and it just adds some more intrigue as we go into this next round of visits.
It was interesting how he mentioned at any point that he was ready to make a decision, he would, but he hasn't yet. Do you get a sense, I mean, you cover this as closely as anybody, but do you get a sense of when he might make the decision?
I think that originally the plan has always been, quarterbacks always traditionally commit early, and for Arch in particular, who is going to take his time because he is not going to do a decommitment or a flip, that's not going to be in the arsenal for Arch. He's going to make a decision and stick with it. So whenever he was ready, and I think ideally that would have been at some point in the off season leading into his senior season, which again is still on the table, right? He just started spring ball, so that's going to be his focus for the next couple of weeks. And then he's going to look into some visits and official visits. Could a decision follow that? Possibly. He certainly left the door open to that. He said he wouldn't mind taking it, briefly into the season if he needs to. And then at the end, he said, if worst case scenario, I will be signed in December. So, there's always the signing day. So, the thing about it, no one has just crossed that line yet. No one, schools are getting closer. He admits that, there is some movement at the top in his recruitment. He feels that he is progressing toward a decision. It's becoming clearer and clearer. But not one school has really separated from at least 2, 3, or 4 others at this point. And, with his comments about 2 SEC schools that, like Florida and LSU, maybe he does want to see a couple more schools before he moves forward with these other 3 that he brought up.
Sam, let me transition there and ask you about LSU, since obviously a lot of people here are going to be interested in that. Do you anticipate, 2-part, that LSU will get an official visit from Arch? And what's a realistic chance of LSU getting Arch Manning, not only on, but to sign and to be a part of the LSU program?
I don't know if LSU will get an official visit. Like I said, I think he's, he didn't say how many official visits he's eyeing. It seems as if Alabama, Georgia, and Texas are all but assured officials because they are advanced in his recruitment. But the thing about Arch is everyone wants to speculate about his recruitment. But like you said, to open this segment, he very rarely goes on the record about his recruitment. He brought up Florida and he brought up LSU. He noted that he has a teammate, Bo Bordelon, who signed with LSU last year. They've obviously been close, playing together for the last couple of years, and he wants to see Bo, whether it's at a practice or at a game. He kind of opened the door that he's going to be in Baton Rouge. It could be an unofficial visit. It may be an official visit. can say is this new staff, headed by Brian Kelly, but certainly supplemented by Frank Wilson and Joe Sloan and Mike Denbrook, but some really familiar, prominent names in the state of Louisiana and Frank Wilson and Joe Sloan, combined with Brian Kelly, who did recruit Arch while he was the head coach. I think that there's been more intrigue with LSU under this regime than any previous interest under the previous regime.
He's on Twitter at Sam Spiegs, on 3 Sports. Sam Spiegelman is with us, national recruiting analyst. Chatted with Arch Manning. You can go read it. It's a free story if you want to go read it at on3sports.com and everything that he had to say. Sam, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask. There's no Ole Miss there. Tons of speculation, obviously, because Archie and Cooper, Arch's father, were Ole Miss alums. Is Ole Miss not in any way part of this conversation any longer?
You know, I can't say for sure either way, but definitely, between the reporting that we've done as a team at On3 over the last couple of months, from the end of his season until he finally went on the record yesterday, it seems like Ole Miss has kind of dissipated from the race. We know that Clemson has, and they were more forward about Clemson falling out, but there hasn't been any direct quotes saying that they are officially out by any means. And you can only guess what could happen with Lane Kiffin at the helm. He's always got a trick up his sleeve, but they've found a quarterback. They're in the pursuit of Jaden Rashada from California. It seems and Arch did not return there for the spring. He doesn't seem to have any plans to go there anytime this summer. He didn't make any mention of them on his own will. So I think by process of elimination, looking in, eliminated entirely, probably not. But right now, definitely not in that top 3 or 5, or at least the group that Arch spoke about publicly.
Sam Spiegelman on 3 Sports. Arch Manning, man, this has been as long and interesting a recruitment as I can recall. Can you, Sam, last thing before you go, is there any recruitment that you would compare to this one as far as the longevity of knowing he was going to be the number 1 player in his class and just a guy that just hasn't really been very open or forward with the process?
Matt, we in the state of Louisiana, we've had so many not only elite guys, but a lot of number 1 guys in the country, as you know, guys like Leonard and Mason Smith and Derek Stingley Jr. and now Arch is following suit. And this one is completely different, and not in a bad way by any means. Limited access is probably better in the whole sense of things. Someone's recruitment is their own personal business, their family's business, and the fact that we have to report on it is, we're trying to, we're reporters. We're digging in, trying to find out what the latest is because there's an interest in it. And I think they've been really good with the media, all things considered. But, like you said, and kind of what I echoed is very rarely does he go on the record. And, there's still so many unknowns in this recruitment. There's so much speculation. There's so many narratives. There's so many factors from Arch getting to know him as a kid, to getting, to be the first football family, and not only in Louisiana, but you could almost say in the NFL overall, which is so unique to say. And it's a family of quarterbacks, tied to the SEC. They live in New Orleans. LSU is now, maybe in the mix. It looks like every time we think that we have a grasp on the recruitment, we're always kind of thrown for a loop, and that's kind of fun. No, I don't think there is anything like it. I think it's been a lot. I'm excited for it to eventually be over with so we can all get some sleep again. But it was been a really fun ride, and I think Arch, it's really been all about him, and he's handled it exceptionally. And he's a great kid that gets a lot of eyes on him for his last name. And not only is he a good kid, but he's an outstanding football player. And just watching him grow yesterday, he is the number 1 player in the country, and I think that we're going to see a lot of that this season.
Sam Spiegelman on 3 Sports on Twitter at Sam Speaks. Thanks, man. We appreciate it.
Absolutely, Matt. Anytime.
All right, be well. We do appreciate Sam Spiegelman. If you go to On 3 Sports, by the way, they do have a prediction machine, basically, based on the likelihood of a certain player going where. Anyway, they have Texas at 60% likelihood. Georgia next at 26%, Alabama at 11%. Then they have Ole Miss and Clemson less than 1%. So Texas, it's kind of confirms we've heard for a long time. Like if Arch had to make a decision today, Texas would be the choice. And Georgia has gained a ton of ground, and then Bama would be in that mix as well. Everyone else is just trying to get a seat at the table to make their pitch. The other interesting thing about the way On3 Sports has worked their platform is they do have an NIL valuation as well. And they estimate Arch Manning's NIL value at $3.1 million. $3.1 million. These guys are no longer just making football decisions. I understand the Mannings and their family is certainly, we all understand who they are, what they are, but you're an 18-year-old and you're talking about getting $3.1 million in your pocket potentially. It's massive, and you will consider that. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. Been a minute since we talked to Lee Feinswog. Let's talk some beer with Lee next, AFR.
AFR. It's a raving fan shout-out. Presented by Darren James & Associates, brokered by eXp Realty.
So many thrilled clients on Friday. There was another Friday closing. Congrats to Melissa Darden, Jeremy Lively for purchasing their first home, and they just keep on coming. When you're Darren James and you're Darren's team and you are at a closing table, literally more than once a day when you look at the volume they do. This was another one that came in from Peyton Hubbard and Haley Johnson, who closed yesterday. Said Tyler, who worked with Darren's team, Tyler. Tyler, can't thank you enough with the crazy work schedule and being able to bring me to showing at any time of the day. Didn't go unnoticed. You knocked it out of the park. Really helped us stay positive. That one time we got an offer declined. You're the one time they had an offer decline. You're the man of your word. You stuck to it when telling us they'd find a better way, and they did. Agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Come on over to Corval Toyota to pre-order your next vehicle. It's an easy and stress-free process. Browse, reserve, pick up, and enjoy. It's that simple. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
It's been so long, I'm not even sure I remember his name. Lee?
Hello, Matt.
How are you, man? Been a minute.
I'm well. You had Sam Spiegelman on before me, I know, on the list, and I didn't get to hear it, but he's a great guest.
Yeah, man, we were talking about Arch Manning. He had a one-on-one with Arch, and that's been as high-profile a recruitment as any of us have ever seen, considering not only the caliber of the player, the position he plays, but the name on the back of the jersey as well. It's been pretty fascinating to follow.
Yeah, no, I had Sam on the TV show, a few weeks back, and we talked a little bit about that. Well, one of those, either Sports Monday, Sports 225, after further review. I can't remember what it's called. But he was great. So that's good. I was scanning the sports news to make sure there wasn't something I missed because, as you always know, we don't rehearse this too well. But I'm sure you had this already, that the Cardinals called up Kramer Robertson.
Yeah, so we did talk about it earlier, and had a little birdie tell me earlier today because Kim Mulkey was at was supposed to be a speaking engagement today, and she had to bail because she was flying up to St. Louis after she got word that Kramer was called up. So I think they wanted to wait for the Cardinals to officially put the word out, which they did, and right at 3:00 as we were starting the show. I mean, listen, he's deserving and was probably deserving a year ago as well, and that's a spot where I think he's ready, man. I think he's ready, and I think he'll do really well.
So often it's just a numbers game, being able to get up, but I'm happy for him. He came from Memphis. You ever been to a AAA game at Memphis?
I have not, man, but I've seen the ballpark. It's gorgeous.
It is. It's a great place to watch a game, and cool. And Memphis is a fun place to visit. St. Louis is more fun and a better place to watch a game.
Okay, better place to watch a game. I don't know if St. Louis is more fun than Memphis, just as a city. That doesn't.
No, different.
Different, and I don't know if there's a spot in St. Louis that's quite like Beale Street. You know what I mean? I don't know that you're getting the same. You can go look at the Arch and all that sort of stuff, but I don't know if there's a whole lot to do in St. Louis, man.
If you like Italian food, you can't beat the Hill, man. It's awesome.
Okay, well, that's really good to know. Maybe that's in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Okay.
From the place from whence Joe Garagiola and Yogi Berra grew up together and came, and they're all Italian immigrants. Yeah, it's pretty cool. There's it's a great place to go, and there's so many restaurants, and St. Louis is a pretty cool city, very livable. Terrific. Very, very livable Major League American city.
Terrific.
And
with a lot of the NIL money that a lot of these kids are making, they can go buy big homes in St. Louis if it's that livable. Hey, what do you think about I'm not sure how much you follow, but Ross has done a really good job reporting on this. But what do you think about the collectives essentially buying recruits, and now the NCAA retroactively coming out saying they're going to punish him?
The NCAA is being driven by the fear of class action suits. Okay, that's the biggest thing that's got them allowing so much to happen. When we hang up, I have to go to New Orleans. Okay. All right, so I'm going to be on I-10. The speed limit's 70. I'm going to be going faster than 70, but not overly faster than 70, and I'm going to stay out of the left lane unless I'm passing someone. But a lot of people are going to pass me doing 85, 90, 95. Nothing's going to happen to them because there just aren't enough state troopers out there to set up speed traps or chase people down, or they don't care. I don't know any of the above. Well, that's the problem that the NCAA's got. This is just a lot of lip service. Their enforcement division is bare bones now. the NCAA is operating on fumes. And the bluster that you're hearing from the various commissioners, like some of the things that have been said, like, if they don't handle this, we're going to take care of it ourselves. Like the Pac-12 commissioner, George Kliakoff, said, if they don't start enforcing these existing bylaws, we'll come up with another solution. Well, okay, it's just because they're laying the framework, because the Group of Five or the Power Five is going to break away. And they're going to form their own organization, or they're going to make the NCAA be their own thing. And this is just another part of it. I mean, as if. So it's like the same thing with the speeding. Do you think all this is going to stop these boosters and these collectives? No, they've already the cat's out of the bag. They're not going back. And it's been getting done like this forever. Then they made it legal. Now they're going to say it's illegal retrospectively. Please.
Well, I think so. There were some boosters that were just very brazenly. I mean, that either boosters or marketing agents for players that felt that they could operate publicly out in the open and did so and disclosed terms. I mean, you saw the thing with the Miami kid who said, if I don't get $800K, I'm leaving. I mean,
if I don't get a better NIL deal, I'm transferring.
Right, but the point is that, and you could laugh at it, the point remains, they put that out there publicly. So when the NCAA, and you're right, their enforcement staff is it's a skeleton staff right now, but you can go after the ones that were very public and brazen, and we kind of know what the short list is. And I think that there's a realistic possibility that it does curb a lot of this.
Well, they'll try to catch one or two of them and make examples of them if they can.
Yes.
But the second that they do, there's going to be even more lawsuits slapped up against the NCAA, and these are going to be coming from very rich people.
I don't know, man. It kind of feels like, if reading Ross's piece, the feeling I got from it was the lawsuit would come if they tried to punish the players, and it sounds like they're not going to punish the players. They're going to punish the schools. And I mean, there is a big difference there. I don't think schools are going to turn around and sue the NCAA. I mean,
well, in Louisiana, is there still a law on the books that says if you commit an NCAA violation as a booster or a fan, that you've broken the law, and there's penalties for that? For example, that goes.
I don't know.
I want to say
Louisiana law. You would probably have to ask someone.
Yeah, I mean, I have it in the cobwebs of my mind writing about this in the late '80s. That it happened after. Gosh, I can't even remember what. But no, but this one, I get what you're saying, Matt, and it goes back to you and me joking about the anarchy that was going to come, and it's far worse than we ever imagined. But the genie's out of the bottle. It's just no way, and they don't have the wherewithal to enforce what they're talking about.
Well,
schools can do it.
They don't have the wherewithal to enforce anything.
Right. The schools can do whatever they want. The boosters can do whatever they want, and the kids can do whatever they want.
But if they catch you, to your point though, Lee, like if there is a trooper on I-10 and pegs you going 82 and gives you a ticket, well, you got to pay the ticket.
Exactly. So they'll all play the lottery in reverse. Figuring, hey, they're not going to catch us.
I think
and of course,
merit to that.
And the other side of this is that it's not like this is new. It just happens to be new under the new rules or lack thereof. But I mean, you go back to the time of the Newt Rockne movie. I mean, in the 30s, and they talk about that kind of stuff. I mean, it's not new, and the NCAA does not have the enforcement power to do what they're asking them to do. And that's why they're laying the framework for a new organization. And what that's going to mean in not just football and basketball. What does it mean for Olympic sports? What does it mean for the Olympic sports movement? Do they take the women's sports along with them when it becomes the football only or men's basketball? I think we have the same conversation 10, 12 years from now. We're going to look back and go, whoa, that was a pretty crazy decade. And it all started with that NIL transfer portal stuff back in 2002. And the portal, it makes, it's part of it too, because there's reasons for inducements.
It's all happened at 2002.
Once. Yeah, well, one of those.
That was 20. That was 20 years ago. Yeah, that was 20 years ago. 2022 is like about 100 years from now. 2002 or 1,000 years from now. I'm so bad at math. Anyway, do you want to talk about beer? Or do you have anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think we pretty much covered everything, except that I'm not leaving without a ding, because I spent the last 5 days before yesterday on the beach at Gulf Shores covering the NCAA beach championships in volleyball.
There it is, the obligatory volleyball mention. We've gotten it out of the way. I'll drink to that.
What is the malted liquor? What gets you drunker quicker? What comes in bottles or in cans? Beer. Can't get enough of it. Beer. How we really love it. Beer. Makes me think I'm a man. Beer. I could kiss and hug it, but I'd rather chug it. Cut my belly out to here. Beer. I could not refuse it. I could really use a beer. Beer.
Take it away.
So Rogue, it makes great beers, and I hadn't had me a Rogue in a while, and I was wandering Whole Foods last week, and a Rogue Hazelnut Brown Nectar was sitting there in the cooler, a few 6-packs of it. And I said, I love brown nectar, and I love hazelnut, and I love Rogue. I should give this a try. And I was right, because it was fabulous. It is fabulous. I haven't drank them all yet. The Rogue Hazelnut Brown Nectar, they say a nutty twist on a brown ale, 5.6% alcohol, nicely carbonated, and absolutely gorgeous color, as you would expect of a hazelnut brown nectar. And it's something they've made before, and they come up with it every, I don't know if it's been for a couple of years, but you're looking for something a little bit different. It's a little sweet on the back end, but the Rogue Hazelnut Brown Nectar, just a really nice change of pace from all the weird different beers that I feel like I've been drinking in my efforts to make sure we have a good one on Tuesdays.
That seems like that would be more of a spring or a fall beer.
Well, I don't know. With the weather changing, I got away a little bit from some of the heavy ones. I mean, all of a sudden this week, summer was upon us. I've got a request in to try a couple of other new and different beers this week. Okay. Again, in my efforts to come up with the best stuff for you on Tuesdays.
Well, we appreciate your sacrifice.
Yeah, but this one here, Rogue Hazelnut Brown Nectar. You'll thank me.
Thank you, Lee.
Thank you, Matt. Go to sports225.com for details on the show. Bye.
See ya. It's After Further Review, brought to you by GMFS Mortgage, GMFSmortgage.com, changing lives since 1999. Home buy, refi, construction loans. Y'all, it is so worth right now reaching out to that local lender at GMFS Mortgage to get pre-qualified. Before interest rates bump again, get that rate locked in at GMFS Mortgage, GMFSmortgage.com. Billions in loans, hundreds of thousands of Louisiana residents have realized that American dream of home ownership. Get pre-qualified today before you start looking for a house. You don't know how much house you can afford to buy until you get pre-qualified. That starts with contacting a local loan officer from GMFS Mortgage. GMFSmortgage.com. GMFS Mortgage, changing lives. All right, we'll knock out a quick break. Come back. SEC football championship odds are out and updated. We'll let you know next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has new 2022 Ram 1500 Bighorns in stock with 0% for 72 months. Shop our inventory or custom order your Ram with $2,000 bonus cash and a 1,000,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou is going to do right by you. Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but 2 NMEA certified techs. Family owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years. Front-to-back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front to Back Boat Service.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Visit Acura of Baton Rouge for attractive offers on the MDX.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Gordon McKernan will join us in 23 minutes, get an update on the collective, the NIL, that whole conversation, especially with the NCAA's news yesterday that they will retroactively punish egregious violators of the NIL rules. If you did miss it earlier today, Kramer Robertson called up to the show. He will be in uniform for the St. Louis Cardinals tonight against the Baltimore Orioles. And a very interesting twist, former Tiger Ben McDonald on the broadcast for the Orioles will be there for Kramer's debut. The LSU women's basketball Twitter posted a photo of Kim Mulkey and Paul Maneri at Busch Stadium watching BP. Kramer doesn't, well, he's not in that photo. At least you can't see where he is in that photo. But anyway, it's Kim and Paul Maneri. It's a photo of them from behind as they look out at the field. Beautiful shot of downtown St. Louis and the arch in the background as well. So good luck to Kramer, who will make his big league debut tonight with, well, he'll be in uniform on the big squad. We'll see if he gets in the ball game. Don't know. No lineup post or anything like that yet, so we'll find out. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're aboard with us here. So it's about that time of year where we start to get Vegas odds on a lot of different things with respect to the football season. Win totals, Heisman odds, league championships, etc. And the odds are out for the SEC championship. And probably not surprising, the Alabama Crimson Tide are the betting favorites. That may surprise some. You might think Georgia would be, the defending national champ would be there at the top, but Georgia did have 15 players drafted. So I guess to some degree I can understand why Georgia might be knocked down a bit. Just you're always going to have a lean toward Alabama. So Alabama is the betting favorite to win the SEC. Georgia second at 5-4 odds, followed by Texas A&M at 11-1. Interestingly enough, the lines were posted on Monday with A&M at 11-1. Big bets came in on A&M, which bumped it down to 9-1. Florida and Ole Miss each at 33-1. Kentucky and Tennessee at 40-1. And then LSU is there at 50-1 odds to win the SEC championship. Arkansas and Auburn next at 66-1. South Carolina 100-1. Mississippi State 200-1. Missouri 400-1. And Vanderbilt, 500-1 odds for Vanderbilt. I mean, why are we even trying here with Vanderbilt anymore? I guess a couple of things that stand out. First and foremost, LSU at 50-1 doesn't seem egregious. I mean, I probably would have thought it would have been worse, but there's, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 6 teams with worse odds than LSU in the conference. So certainly not worst among the league. The other thing that stood out to me is, as we've talked about LSU's schedule, LSU plays, remember, you play 8 conference games. 3 of the conference games they play are against teams with lesser odds to win the league than LSU. Arkansas, Auburn, and Mississippi State. I guess the odd part is there's a lot of people who are looking at Arkansas and Auburn as sleepers in the league this year. Bryan Harsin, year 2. What happens at quarterback? I'm not so convinced that Zach Calzada is going to be a guy. Wasn't a guy at A&M. I don't know that he's a guy at Auburn. Is TJ Finley that answer? Don't know. And then Arkansas, won 9 games a year ago, and they've got worse odds to win the league than LSU. I mean, for all the talk about Sam Pittman and maybe making Arkansas a contender or a sleeper, people, the odds makers of Vegas are telling you they ain't buying Arkansas. God bless my good friend Josh Bertuccini, who does mornings. Josh has been on the show a bunch. Red Zone 92 on the ticket. JB and I have the bet. Do you remember he came on the show? We made the bet. Oh no, that was on his show. That was on his show. All right. So quick backstory. That was on his show, right? Okay, so it wasn't here. So I go on Josh's show up in Fayetteville, and maybe this was during Arkansas's bowl game or after they had won their bowl game. He tweeted something about KJ Jefferson, the Arkansas quarterback, being a Heisman frontrunner. And I kind of checked him on Twitter. And pull up KJ Jefferson's stats from last year, please. And I was like, Heisman frontrunner? JB, what are you talking about? Anyway, so I go on his show, and he kind of calls me. He brings it up on air. And so I make a bet with him. What is it with me and bets all of a sudden? Like, I'm betting everybody. And I'm not even asking for it. But anyway, so I bet him on air, and he said KJ Jefferson is a Heisman frontrunner. I said, JB, KJ Jefferson's not even going to be, he won't even have a seat in New York. And so he was appalled by that. And we ended up betting that if KJ Jefferson is a Heisman finalist, I have to fly the two of us to New York for the Heisman ceremony. He said he'll handle getting credentialed, all that stuff, but I got to fly us up there, hotel, all that stuff. Okay. If he's not, then JB's got to buy me a really nice dinner. I told him I'm not a cheap date, and he's going to have to pay a lot for that dinner, mind you. Like, there will be cocktails and wine, like expensive wine, and I will have like cowboy cut ribeye, sides, cheesecake, coffee, after dinner drinks. It's going to be expensive for him. All right, Muse, hit me with KJ Jefferson's stats from last year.
All right, so 67% completion.
Okay.
2,676 yards passing.
Okay. I'll tell you why I'm laughing.
21 touchdowns.
Wait, how many? What was the yardage again?
2,676 yards.
2676.
Yes.
Okay.
21 touchdowns.
21 touchdowns.
4 interceptions.
4 picks. Okay. The reason I'm laughing is because, the reigning Heisman Trophy winner is back in college football.
Do you want his rushing stats?
KJ's?
Yeah.
What the hell? Give them to me.
146 attempts, 664.
Okay.
6 touchdowns.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Muse. Okay. The guy who won the Heisman last year threw for 4,872 yards. That would be 2,200 yards more than KJ Jefferson. 47 touchdowns, which would be 26 more than doubled up KJ Jefferson. He did have 7 picks to KJ's 4. And then rushing stats, Bryce Young, where are his rushing stats for the year? It really doesn't matter. Bryce Young ran for 0 yards last year. 81 attempts for 0 yards. That's because sack yardage counts against rushing stats, which is stupid. But anyway. There is no way KJ Jefferson's going to be in New York. Like, you have to be a quarterback of a championship contending team who puts up gaudy stats. In no way is this going to be his reality. It's the stupidest bet ever. Like, that's like betting that I'm going to play in the league next year. What are you talking about? It's fundamentally absurd. It's an absurd conversation. Anyway, Arkansas and Auburn at 66-1, worse odds than LSU at 50-1. So you start to look at LSU, and I think what's happening with the odds makers, and we talked about it a bit yesterday because we saw win totals pop up as well whenever we talked about Brian Kelly, Billy Napier, because the piece Barrett Sallee did. What you've seen is LSU, in the eyes of the odds makers since Brian Kelly was hired and has rebuilt this roster, gone from projected 6 wins to 8.5. You're seeing their SEC odds now better than Arkansas, Auburn, South Carolina, Mississippi State, Missouri, Vanderbilt. Nobody's saying they're a contender, but it's a far cry from the bottom feeder that some thought this team might be. And that's a big compliment to Brian Kelly and the staff, the way they've been able to turn over this roster in pretty short order. All right, it's after further review, a little bit late. We'll come back. Muse will do Tigers and the Pros to wrap up our numbers. The whole KJ Jefferson, we just went on a weird tangent there. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Seagan near Airline, LA 16 in Denham. Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Now that Mother's Day has come and gone, can all kind of exhale a little bit. Still receiving new shipments of shrubs. It is a great time to get by Clegg's Nursery. If you're thinking about adding some flowers or plants, great time to do it. They got beautiful hydrangeas. All of your lawn and garden questions you may have, they can help you answer them. Normally, our Mother's Day, I've told you, weekend tradition is we go to Clegg's and Erica picks out all the flowers and we plant them. Well, Saturday was at Don Juan for the Derby party, so we didn't get by Clegg's, so we're doing that this weekend. Would encourage you to do the same. Buy local, shop local. Be sure to tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
Bayou Ford has 0% for 60 months on new Ford F-150s, plus $500 bonus cash. We have new 2022 F-150s on our lot now. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law offices of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2, brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Better coverage for less money. Give them a shout. Musso has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
Mike Florio spoke to sources and got the terms of Tyrann Mathieu' contract with the New Orleans Saints. The deal, as we previously knew, was 3 years. We now know the base is $27 million over the 3 years. $18 million fully guaranteed at signing. $2 million per year in incentives. The base salary for 2022 will be $1.5
Yeah, they kept that
million.
low. That's great news. So, I mean, the $18 million to it signing means they could spread that over. So you said the cap hits 1.2?
I'm sorry, yes, for this year?
Yeah,
1.2.
So you got a low cap hit. So, I mean, that leaves them a ton of space to go sign other free agents.
Kramer Robertson is called up to the St. Louis Cardinals. Been talking about it throughout the day. Kramer becomes the 80th LSU baseball player to play in the major leagues. The 22nd LSU player coached by former head coach Paul Maneri to reach the big leagues. So far, in 80 at-bats in AAA this year, Kramer was hitting .225, 3 homers, 11 runs batted in. There's a lot of numbers in front of me. 11 runs batted in. Starting lineup is posted. Kramer not in the starting lineup, but hopefully gets an AB tonight.
Yeah, I don't think that's a surprise that he wouldn't be in the starting lineup with such a quick turnaround. But he should. They got a long homestand. He should be able to play here soon.
Starting lineups across major leagues tonight. The Astros will visit the Twins. Alex Bregman will hit third, .235, 5 homers, 17 RBI so far on the year. The Yankees host the Blue Jays. DJ LeMahieu will lead off for the Bronx Bombers. .283, 2 homers, 9 RBI. And then the Phillies, they're in Seattle facing the Mariners. Aaron Nola will get the start tonight. 1-3 with an ERA of 3.38, 34 and 2/3 innings, 6 walks.
Well, I looked up on the
41
screen and I saw
strikeouts.
LeMahieu, and I didn't want to jump the gun.
And I only
But I
ask.
should have done. Yeah, I should have done it.
I only ask that the Phillies score runs tonight for Aaron
No,
Nola.
of course not.
And if they do, like last week, don't give up a 7 spot in the 9th. Ridiculous. That's Tigers in the pros.
He should go pitch for the Yankees.
He should go pitch anywhere except Philadelphia and the Yankees.
He should pitch for the Yankees.
No, he shouldn't.
Wouldn't you want to pitch for the
You're
first
right.
base?
He is
Wouldn't
a
you
better
love
option.
to go
He is a better
pitch?
option than Garrett Cole. That guy robbed the Yankees blind. Like, he really did.
Wouldn't you love to pitch for the first place club?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Proudly bringing you Tigers in the pros. They want to be your jeweler for life when it comes down to diamonds. You've got so many decisions to make, the shape, the cut, the setting, all of it. If you're like me, you don't know anything about it. Trust the experts at Lee Michaels. They've been doing it for 40 years. They will thrill her with a beautiful diamond. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, it's after further review. SportsCenter coming up. We'll get you caught up on national headlines. Gordon McKernan is going to jump aboard with us next. Excited to talk to Gordon, especially in light of the NIL news from the NCAA yesterday. Let's get an update on the LSU Collective, what's been happening there in that space. We'll talk about it with Gordon coming up right after the top of the hour.
AFR.
Always love telling you about Relief Windows. ReliefWindows.com. 288-8138. 288-8138. ReliefWindows.com. They do windows, doors, and siding. I've been asked sometimes, hey, well, can you just do the side? Absolutely. If you just want a beautiful entry door, they can help you. If you just want hardy plank or vinyl siding, they can help you. Maybe you want windows at your home to make your home more energy efficient. Have you ever tried this? On a hot day like this, go put your hand on the window. See how much heat, feel how much heat is coming through that window. How hard your home central AC has to work to keep that temperature down, to keep you comfortable. Not if you have energy efficient replacement windows from Relief Windows. Their Energy Star products are immaculate. We have them at our house. Will lower your energy bill, increase your home's resale value. Check them out at reliefwindows.com. 288-8138, 288-8138, or reliefwindows.com. Windows, doors, siding, reliefwindows.com.
Miller Lite has more taste and only one more calorie than Michelob Ultra.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside, off the bench, Hunt and Hill, the early line. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli? I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
Do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
This is Sportscenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. For a fifth time this NBA postseason, the Heat will be without starting point guard Kyle Lowry because of a hamstring injury. He's been ruled out of Game 5 tonight against the 76ers in that second-round playoff series. The Sixers have tied things up 2-2, thanks partly to James Harden's 31-point performance on Sunday. Philly, though, doesn't necessarily need 30-plus a game from Harden to win the series, believes KJM co-host Jay Williams.
I don't want James Harden scoring 35 every single night. I want James Harden being a guy that can be 20 to 24, can facilitate pass, get everybody involved. If he gets hot, then great. You'll take that as a 76er fan. But you don't want James Harden trying, I like this team when they're balanced with Joel Embiid being back in the court, Tyrese Maxey being considered to be an alpha guy.
Jay Will, I'm Barton Hahn, ESPN radio coverage of Game 5 in 1 hour. Minor league players in Major League Baseball reached a settlement in a lawsuit alleging teams violated minimum wage laws. The details not yet released. The sides in recent weeks had been discussing a possible settlement in the $200 million range.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. And now, a no-frills ad brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Here it is. You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. That's it. See? Just a good old-fashioned, straightforward ad. See if you could save at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE or Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Yusu. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock, quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. I do want to talk a little bit about what the Saints' options are at running back now that Sony Michel has landed in Miami. Also, Muse told you at the end of last hour, Tyron's contract details. We'll get into some of that here in just a bit as well. Tiger Baseball, again, Southeastern tonight at the Box. Get a preview at the bottom of this hour. A big story on Monday, of course, was Ross Dellinger's report that the NCAA has updated guidelines for how collectives handle NIL with respect to inducements for high school prospects, which was happening. I mean, there are different boosters and marketing agents that have gone on the record about that, and the NCAA is trying to curtail it. Figured it was a good opportunity to bring Gordon McKernan back onto the show, talk about how this all is going to impact LSU, what they've done, looking forward. When I say LSU, of course, I mean the collective or those businesses that have supported LSU athletes. Gordon, thanks, man. We appreciate some time. How are you?
I'm doing great, Matt. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thanks. Let me start with just kind of a big overarching one. Any reaction to the news yesterday and the report yesterday from Ross Dellinger?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't surprised by it. Having talked with some folks at the NCAA several months ago, just trying to make sure that everything I was doing was correct, and having researched it, I hired Bob Barton with Taylor Porter, who's done a lot of NCAA work through the years. Just reading all the tea leaves and seeing
all the rumblings, I wasn't surprised. And Bob, in fact, had told me it's coming. Get ready.
Is it interesting that you as an attorney hired an attorney?
Matt, I wish I could tell you that that's the only time I have to hire an attorney, but every month I probably pay 4 different types of attorneys. I pay a tax attorney, I pay an ethics attorney, I pay Bob, I pay contracts attorney. It's crazy, but I have to spend way too much on other legal bills.
I can appreciate that. You said that you spoke to the NCAA. Did you reach out to the NCAA, or did they reach out to you?
No, I reached out to them. I don't want to say who I spoke with, but
That's
someone high up, just saying, look, what are y'all going to do about this? Because it's crazy out there. And he agreed and said, look, we're trying to do some things and some guidelines, and tighter restrictions will be coming, but ultimately it may be a congressional thing.
Oh, wow. Do you think that that's realistic to get Congress to intervene on this NIL stuff?
Well, we know the desire of the federal government, and it's a long arm that they like to have, and given the propensity for them to do that, I could see them easily doing it, especially if you have a congressman or woman or senator from a certain state who once was good and now is getting left behind, so to speak, by the states or universities with a deeper collective. Yeah, I could see them getting involved.
Okay. Gordon McKernan is our guest on Twitter at GetGordon. Do you think that this NCAA legislation, the guidelines, do you think this will eliminate collectives?
No, I really don't. I think they can survive, but it'll be tough. The collectives are going to have to do things the right way to survive. And if they're not involved in recruiting and having conversations or inducements to attend, a potential player to attend or stay in school, then they can survive. But it's going to be tough. The individual directives, I like that phrase. That's what an individual booster is being called, a directive versus collective.
Okay.
I think has a better shot, especially if you think about one like how we've tried to do it. We do a lot of deals with LSU athletes, but I'm also doing deals with other athletes at other universities around the state. So things like that, the boosters are going to have to be smarter in how they do things and just try to follow the rules.
Gordon, does LSU have a collective organized yet?
No, there's not a formal collective organized yet, to the best of my knowledge. I know there's some people working very hard at it, and conversations are going on now, and boosters are participating in that. And but there's not a formal collective as of yet.
Do you know if, because I know there's been a lot of conversation about the Louisiana law. Does Louisiana law prohibit a collective from organizing?
It's open to interpretation. There's, arguments that can be made that you can do it, right? And there's arguments to made that, well, you might have to jump through a few hoops. But from what I can understand is that law will be amended this legislative session, and it's working its way through the process. I'm not exactly sure at which stage it's in, but by all intents and purposes, from what I hear from the different representatives and senators, it will be amended.
Can you oversimplify for dummies like me and smarter people in our audience, though, who don't speak legalese, what the current law states, or as you understand it?
Yeah, I haven't looked at it recently, but it imposes some greater obligations and restrictions on what a booster and or a school or someone affiliated with a school can and can't do. And it just makes it harder as compared to other states, right? So it could be struck down or it could be attacked by an officer of the state if a collective were formed and said, like, you really didn't have that according to state law, because the state law was meant to be fashioned after the NCAA guidelines, and it tried to align with that, and then all of a sudden you have all these other states breaking away from it and trying to remove every obstacle and every barrier and every restriction, like Florida tried to do or Alabama tried to do.
Right. I know I'm bouncing a little, but do you feel that what the NCAA is trying to accomplish is enforceable?
Boy, that's a tough question. Enforceability. Someone could challenge us under federal antitrust laws. I mean, I don't specialize in that, but I do think they're not trying to create new limitations as much as they're just trying to simplify and clarify what's been existing. If you really think about it, that's what they're trying to do, right? They're trying to give more teeth to it. The change in these guidelines, and I got to glance through it. I didn't get to read it. That's why Bob called me after reading it. We talked through it. They're going after the staff at the school, whether it's the athletic department or anyone affiliated, in being involved in any way, shape, or form, from contacting, connecting, arranging meetings, anything like that to a prospective student at another school or a high school kid or even a present student athlete, keep them staying here between that and an NIL booster or collective. That's what they're really hammering down on, and they're trying to make sure that doesn't happen. The other rules still exist, but they want to come in and clarify that, give a little more teeth to that.
It's going to be fascinating, man. Look, there were so many, and I'm sure just in the last 5 to 6 months, you've gotten a lifetime of education on all this stuff as deeply rooted as you've been in it for this half year or so. But I'm curious your thoughts also on how brazen some other boosters, collectives were, and how open they were about their pursuit of players at schools or high school players, whereas you took a different tack where you called the NCAA. You made sure things were on the up and up. What has that contrast been like for you experiencing it as someone involved in this space?
Yeah, it's a little surreal. You hear the stories through the years of how aggressive certain schools will recruit and things like that, and then watching it play out kind of now because they think they can do it legally and ethically like that. It's really interesting when you think about a school which agrees to give a scholarship or give an NIL money to every player in that position. The 7th-string tight end at a certain school, for example, that guy is going to get the same amount as the 1st string. I mean, how is that individual bringing or benefiting a potential business as a 7th-string tight end? It's clearly an inducement to get student athletes to go to that particular school, and then you're starting to see the outrageous sums of money. Whether it's the $2 million supposed deal or $8 million deal at the Tennessee guy, or what's going on at Miami for the basketball player. I think it's larger than anybody expected this quick. I mean, eventually maybe we'll get this, but come out the gate, it's definitely an inflationary NIL cycle we're in.
Gordon McKernan on Twitter @GetGordon. Last thing, time very much appreciated. If I said, I don't know if you've thought about this at all, but if I said, hey, fast forward a year, and in May of 2023, you and I, God willing, are sitting here and we're talking about this. What do you think that the NIL landscape looks like?
I don't think it'll be much changed. I think you're going to have these power schools with deep pockets pressing this envelope very hard. And I think you're going to have the other schools trying to figure out ways to keep up. I think these collectives will get smarter. I mean, I think they're going to run things tighter to the vest, maybe kind of bring back some of the old days of how the recruiting used to be, and they're going to get better at it in terms of evading the reach of the NCAA. That's what I think of. I think you'll have individual directives like me, companies doing it well and doing the right thing. And then you're going to have some of these collectives who just can't help themselves because the money's too big and the prestige is too big to say we're this collective and look what class we got, look how good we are in this program. I think you're gonna see it. It's going to take a school to really get slapped on the wrist, and then that'll be interesting at that time is what happens to that when a power school gets slapped on the wrist for affiliating and connecting with a collective.
The old days, like 8 months ago.
Yeah,
it's crazy, man. How quickly the whole perception of this entire, not just the perception, the reality of the recruiting game has changed. Gordon McKernan on Twitter @GetGordon. Thanks for the time, as always. Very generous. We appreciate it.
Yep, Matt, appreciate you. God bless.
Be well. So LSU does not have a collective. And as I understand it, And that's why I asked him about state law. I'm not sure that Louisiana would, as it's currently stated, that LSU can formally have a collective. And please understand, every time I talk about this, when I say LSU administrators cannot be part of it. Please, so don't misunderstand. When I say LSU, I just mean the group of business owners, the collective, operating in a manner to benefit LSU, if that makes sense. There's no question that LSU has gotten left behind in this space. The hope for all of us here is these new NCAA guidelines slow down some of those other ones that are already sprinting down the street and allow you to catch up, or at least pull them back to the pack a little. But the fear is exactly what Gordon just said there, that they just revert to what they were always doing, just doing it in secret now. All right, it's After Further Review, brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. Hey, about 45 minutes from right now, events getting underway over at the Williamson Eye Center. It's their Let's Talk About LASIK event. Dr. Blake Williamson is going to perform a LASIK procedure at this event tonight. And I'm checking right now to see if they have any space. It may be worth it if you want to give them a shout at 924-2020, 924-2020, 924-2020 to see if you can still get in there. They will have dinner, so it's Taco Tuesday. So have some tacos and maybe watch a LASIK procedure live there and get all your questions answered. They're on SUMA, so it's on the Baton Rouge General Campus at that Williamson Eye Center location. 924-2020. It's a free event. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEYE.com. All right, so it's official. Sony Michel is headed to the Miami Dolphins. He's off the table for the Saints. Do the Saints have another free agent running back option? Let's delve into that next and take a quick peek at Tyrann Mathieu's contract, which has been reported by terms of which have been reported by Florio. That's next, AFR.
AFR.
All right, y'all. We got into the 90s today, and with the humidity, those triple-digit temps, and the heat index is here. Don't let your home central AC go kaput. Give our friends at River City's 1 Hour Air a call. 752-0001. 752-0001. 752-0001. Preseason AC tune-up. Make sure you have this done. This is standard seasonal maintenance. You should have this done every single year. You want to lengthen the life of your unit. Make sure that it's running at max efficiency. Make sure it's cleaned, it's tuned up, it's ready for the marathon it's about to run during these warm weather months. Look for the big yellow trucks and vans with the giant clock on the side. You see River City's 1 Hour Air all over time because your friends and neighbors trust them just like I do. Go read the reviews. You'll see. 752-0001, 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Bayou Ford has 0% for 60 months on new Ford F-150s, plus $500 bonus cash. We have new 2022 F-150s on our lot now. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but 2 NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, Front-to-Back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front-to-Back Boat Service.
If home is where the heart is, a roof is a shield. That's why for over 25 years, South Louisiana always turns to Garcia Roofing and Sheet Metal. For more information, visit garciadidmyroof.com.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Rolling along here in hour number 3. Thrilled to have you with us. Always appreciate our friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana for being here. We'll get into some of the details of Tyron's contract, which are have now been released or reported by Florio over at Pro Football Talk. So we'll get into some of that here in just a little bit. It is now official. Sony Michel has signed with the Miami Dolphins. It's disappointing. We talked about it. The fit in New Orleans would have made so much sense. And quite honestly, I don't see the fit for him in Miami at all. Quick backstory, Sony Michel went to Georgia, was a first-round draft pick of the New England Patriots. They did not pick up his fifth-year option. They shipped him off to L.A. He was great for them in their Super Bowl winning season. Cam Akers, when he had his Achilles injury, Sony Michel really picked up the slack. When Akers returned, Michel's production and opportunities really reduced. And now, as a free agent, he's looking around, and the Saints are in need of running back help, and they brought in Sony Michel to kick the tires, and ultimately he ends up signing with Miami. It just doesn't make any sense for Sony Michel, except for one factor, which we'll get to in a second. Miami was bad running the football last season. They were 30th in the NFL in rushing yards, so they were bad. Also, the third fewest average yards before contact. They were just bad. They were bad on the offensive line. They were bad at running back. Well, Sony Michel is now the third running back to sign with Miami this offseason. He joins Raheem Mostert and Chase Edmonds. And they already have Myles Gaskin on the roster. So that is a crowded running back room. Salvon Ahmed was tendered as well. So you get 5 running backs now, with Michel being the third they signed this offseason. And when I look at the contract he got, that don't make no sense either. He's on a 1-year, $2.1 million deal. He's on a 1-year bargain basement deal to join a crowded running back room on a team that was terrible running the football a year ago. They went out and addressed it. They added Teron Armstead at left tackle. As you mentioned, they signed Raheem Mostert, now Chase Edmonds, and now Michel on top of that. His opportunities are going to be minimal in Miami. The only thing that makes sense is it's a homecoming for Sony Michel, who was a 5-star out of American Heritage School, which is 20 minutes from Hard Rock Stadium. So he's a Miami guy. He's going home. So in that respect, it makes sense. But think about the conversation we've had with Tyrann Mathieu, about Tyrann Mathieu. Tyrann's going home, but Saints didn't get a hometown discount. Tyrann's deal is 3 years, $33 million with $18 million guaranteed. So 3-year, $33 million with $18 million of it guaranteed. That was the initial word that we had got. He got $9.5. This is from Florio. Got $9.5 million at signing. $1.5 million is his base salary this year, which is fully guaranteed. So just, I guess when you look at Tyrann's deal, it's dude got paid. It's a base deal of $27 million over 3 years with $18 million fully guaranteed. His cap hit this year is going to be $1.5 million. I mean, it's a very manageable contract for Tyrann Mathieu, which means two things. Number one, it leaves the Saints room to play with this year, but Tyrann still got paid. I mean, he's going to get $18 million fully guaranteed over 3 years and as much potentially as 27 or up to 33. So, yeah, he's getting paid. Sony Michel took a bargain. I don't know what the Saints offered, but would the Saints have done 1 year, $2.1 million for Sony Michel? Could have absolutely offered that to him, considering the deal that he did in Miami with the Dolphins. So if you're the Saints now, you're kind of back to the drawing board because that's brutal. I mean, that's an affordable contract for a good player at 27 with a lot of tread still on the tires, and he could have come to New Orleans where, I mean, you've got Alvin Kamara, who we're all assuming is going to miss 6 games, and after that, it's a giant crapshoot. You got Mark Ingram, who's long in the tooth, and you don't really know how much tread he's got left on the tires, and was banged up at points late in last season. Also was missed time due to COVID. Tony Jones Jr., Dwayne Washington, who's really a special teamer. You don't have a guy. You don't have a guy. So, man, boy, it really would have been nice to see Michel. And when you look at what is out there in free agency for New Orleans right now, it's kind of slim pickings. I'm going to be very curious to see if maybe someone like Abram Smith, the undrafted free agent out of Baylor, doesn't have a better chance of making this team just because of the year and who's available and what's available. If you look at the available free agent running backs, Tariq Cohen, David Johnson, Jalen Richard, Phillip Lindsay, Devontae Booker, Mike Davis from the Falcons, Carlos Hyde, Malcolm Brown, Darrell Williams is a free agent, Latavius Murray.
Murray, present.
There it is. Devontae Freeman, who the Saints brought in last year and then cut. I mean, you get my point. Like, there aren't a lot of great options out there. And when I look at that list, Tariq Cohen might be the most intriguing because he's probably, from a skill set, maybe the most similar to Kamara. I'm not telling you he's Alvin Kamara. Please don't misunderstand me. But Tariq Cohen started his NFL career and with Chicago, had a really good start to his NFL career and then has basically missed 2 seasons due to injury. He was injured in the 2020 season and then missed all of last year because of the residual effect of that knee injury. So you're talking about a guy who, was a good player for Chicago the first couple of years of his career, and then, it just injured in 2020 and then missed all of last year. David Johnson is another player who's at this point would be affordable, but really that trade with the Texans and Arizona has got to go down as one of the all-time worst. But what it did, it subsequent has proven that the solo 1,000-yard season David Johnson had in Arizona was the outlier and continues to be the outlier of his career. Phillip Lindsay, I think, is an interesting possibility for the right price. Phillip Lindsay was from Denver, went to Colorado, went undrafted, signed with the Broncos, and had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons to start his career. Ran for 1,037 yards as a rookie in 2018, ran for 1,011 yards in 2019, and then played in just 11 games in 2020, and then played in 14 games last year with two different teams, with Houston and Miami. And like we talked about, Miami was just an anemic running game a season ago, and Lindsey was a part of that. He played in 4 games for Miami, had 38 carries for 119 yards, but his season average a year ago was right at 2 yards a carry. So since that rookie year where he averaged nearly 4 yards a carry, it has just been a steady decline. That's why I look and I go, the guy that probably has the highest ceiling, that might fit best into what New Orleans is doing if he's healthy, might be Tariq Cohen. But, boy, it certainly feels like slim pickings right now at running back, which is why to see Sony Michel available, to have gotten him into your facility, to see that he took a bargain deal and joined a crowded running back room, makes me wonder if maybe the Saints didn't like what they saw, or it was just something where you were never going to be able to beat the value of Sony Michel going home. But when we learn Tyron's contract and the terms of Tyron's contract, what it tells you is the Saints got money to spend. If they went into this deal with about $18 million in cap space, and Tyron's number, against the cap will cost him about $1.5 million or so with his base, you're going to spend about $3 million to pay your draft picks, which should put you somewhere in the $15 million range, $12 to $15 million range still to spend. So they got money to spend here in free agency, and still some spots they have to address. Running back, I would put in that mix. If there's a tight end available, absolutely, you'd want to add to that room. Defensive tackle, to get a starting caliber player on the defensive line would feel like a really big win at this point. So money to spend, and positions where they need to spend it, but still searching for running back after Sony Michel picked the Miami Dolphins. All right, it's After Further Review, brought to you by DraftKings. Official sports betting partner of the NBA is DraftKings. NBA playoffs continue tonight. Remember, bet just $5 on any NBA playoff game. Bet just $5 on any NBA playoff game. If the team you bet on wins, they'll give you $150 in free bets. That's only at DraftKings, and only if you use the promo code Baton Rouge. So important, use the promo code Baton Rouge. That's how you unlock that promotion. So go download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Bet just $5 on an NBA playoff game. They'll give you $150 in free bets if your team wins. Remember, same game parlays as well. The more legs you add, the more money you can win. That's at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Now the disclaimer. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Availability varies by parish. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full terms and conditions. Licensee partner Golden Nugget, Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-7-STOP. All right, y'all. The LSU baseball lineup, waiting on it to be posted, and some really cool pictures. Go follow if you don't follow the LSU baseball account on Twitter or the LSU women's basketball, some really cool pictures of what's going on in St. Louis tonight. Kramer is in the lineup for he's not in the lineup for the Cardinals, but he was called up today, so he'll be in uniform. I mentioned one of the cool things that Ben McDonald is traveling with the Orioles, calling their TV games, and they just happen to be in St. Louis. And sure enough, there's Ben McDonald and Paul Maneri on the field at Busch Stadium before the game. So pretty cool that Big Ben will be there for Kramer's debut tonight. Hopefully he gets in the game. And check out, by the way, Ben's kicks. Look at that. Boy, you could take the boy out of Denham. You can't take Denham out the boy. Hey, Ben McDonald's on the field. He is on the field at Busch Stadium, and he's wearing camo Nikes. I freaking love it. What a guy. He's such a dude. All right, it's After Further Review. Let me knock out a quick break. Waiting on that LSU lineup to be posted for the game tonight against Southeastern. When it is, we'll run through it. Curious to see who's going to get the ball for the Tigers. We'll get into all of that as we continue. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Better coverage for less money. That's Insurance Network of Louisiana. 293-0450. 293-0450. Y'all, look at your calendar, all right? It's May the 10th. You start to see the reports. We're creeping into storm season. And so many of you learned a year ago when storm season and Ida hit, or maybe it was prior, out in the Lake Charles area with Delta and Laura. You learned what your homeowner's coverage was. You learned what your storm deductible was. And that didn't sit well with a lot of you. Better coverage for less money. Yeah, it's exciting when I tell you about people that save $5,000, $7,000, $10,000 annually on their insurance. But it's sometimes even better when you get better coverage, proper coverage. Insurance Network of Louisiana can help get you better coverage for less money. Call them. 293-0450.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has new 2022 Ram 1500 Bighorns in stock with 0% for 72 months. Shop our inventory or custom order your Ram with $2,000 bonus cash and a 1,000,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
The 2022 Smoke 'em If You Got 'em, presented by Mockler Beverage, is almost here. Smoke 'em If You Got 'em is an event that raises money to support military veterans and their families. Tickets are $100, and this year's event benefits the Special Forces Charitable Trust. Come enjoy live music, a grill station, a cigar station, a dessert station, a live and silent auction, and so much more. It's the 2022 Smoke 'em If You Got 'em fundraiser, presented by Mockler Beverage, Sunday, May 22nd at Bent 77. Learn more at smokembr.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Visit Acura of Baton Rouge for attractive offers on the MDX.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, LSU Southeastern in baseball, less than an hour away from first pitch. Still waiting on the lineup to be posted. Should be any minute here. When it is, we'll run through it. Meantime, Muse, hit me with a poll update, if you would. Oh, it is posted. Good. We'll get to this in a second. Hit me with a poll question update, Muse, if you would.
Sure. Today's Citizens Bank poll of the day. Where will Arch Manning play college football? 43.6% of people say Georgia.
How many said Texas?
38.3. It's second.
How many said LSU?
9. Tied with Alabama, actually.
The most interesting development of all this. So, look, if he had to pick today, it would be Texas. I think it's a Texas, Georgia, Bama distant third right now. Of course, it could change. If you missed it, Sam Spiegelman was with us last hour. That interview in its entirety will be up on demand at 1045ESPN.com on all the AFR podcast platforms and also the After Further Review YouTube channel if you want to check it out there. Sam Spiegelman did a one-on-one with Arch Manning. So good on him. It's been hard for people to get Arch to speak on the record about his recruitment. if you had to pick today, it would be Texas. That seems to be the obvious. The biggest part the biggest part of Arch's recruitment is going to be Ole Miss not being in it. As many people, you have to understand, when you cover the league, you meet a lot of people, a lot of colleagues, and I have a lot of friends that cover Ole Miss, and we have been talking about this for literally years now. The importance of Lane Kiffin getting Arch Manning. And it's pretty well known that Arch is, well, I don't want to speak out of turn. Let's just say that maybe they don't want, Lane Kiffin isn't, they're not the biggest Kiffin people. Put it to you that way. But Kiffin desperately needs to get Arch, but he's not going to get it. So that's why you're seeing him go real heavy after this other 5-star in the class, which if he lands him, it lessens the blow a little bit. But still, that last name and on that campus, and you all understand, I don't need to spell it out for you, that's going to be a big deal. I mean, that is a storyline. He's not, Arch ain't going to Ole Miss. But that's a storyline worth watching as we get to the December signing period, because that's what happens there with Ole Miss is going to have some ramifications, depending on what Kiffin does here with this class. And by the way, shout out Josh Burgess, who texted the show. He said, sorry to text during a show. Josh, that's why I got the text line. Always text. He said, your shows aren't loading on the Apple Podcast. I have a 5-mile run today. I'm about to panic. Any ideas? Right. So we are. I tweeted out the link, posted it on Facebook. I texted him the link right back. So we now have our own RSS feed for AFR. So it's no longer all of the shows on one feed at 104.5 ESPN. Go to iTunes, go to Spotify, search After Further Review, and you'll see our feed. And that's where AFR's podcast will live exclusively. Yep.
We should also note that sometimes it also does take a good 30 to 40 minutes or so for them to appear, even on that RSS feed. So it's not going to be as instantaneous as it was under the 104.5 ESPN feed.
Okay. Let me check just real quick because I have all the links right here.
Like the first hour should for sure be up there by now, and probably the second hour too, maybe.
The latest one that I see there is hour 2.
Okay.
So hour 2's up. Yes, hour 2's up. So cool. So the first 2 hours are up. And this will go up. Hour 3's not done. So naturally,
right.
Hour 3's not posted yet. So yeah, it's up. All right. Thanks, Muse. All right. It's After Further Review. Lineups posted for LSU and Southeastern. Lions are 3 games under 500. Hadn't been a great year for Matt Reiser. They are 3 games over 500 in conference play. Not exactly an RPI. It is an RPI opportunity for Southeastern. Doesn't really matter for them, though. For Southeastern to make it into regional play, they're going to have to win their league. For LSU, you would love to see them go out and play really well tonight and carry some of that momentum into this weekend. And there is a bit of a surprise on the bump. LSU's going to start Sam Dutton. So Dutton started on Sunday, only pitched 2/3 of an inning before getting yanked. And they're going to run him back out there tonight. So Sam Dutton starts on the bump for LSU. This is how they'll line it up. Gavin Dugas, again, will play in left field and will lead off. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. He was awesome in that spot on Sunday. 2 hits, 3 walks, was on base 5 times. Yeah, run him out there. Josh Pearson will bat second and play in right. Dylan Cruz will bat third, play center. Trey Morgan will bat cleanup, play first base. Kay Doty at second base will bat fifth. Braden Joubert back in the lineup as the DH. He'll bat sixth. Jordan Thompson at shortstop will bat 7th. Tyler McManus behind the dish. He'll bat 8th. And Collier Cranford back in the lineup again at third base will bat 9th. So with Joubert going to DH and with Dugas going back into the field, that means no Josh Stevenson and no Drew Bianco in the ball game tonight. So Dugas, Pearson, Cruz, Morgan, Doty, Joubert, Thompson, McManus, Cranford, and Dutton on the bump for the Tigers tonight. Really want to see LSU. A couple things. I want to see Cranford be flawless at third, in no particular order, because with Berry out, they're choosing to put a glove at third base. Cranford was 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts the other day in Game 3. They're not putting him in there for his bat. You got to be flawless at third. You're in there for one reason. You're in there to be flawless on the hot corner. Go be that. Want to see Cranford play well at third. Dugas leading off is super interesting to me, but I kind of love it. I mean, Jay's always talked about how he wants a guy that can change the scoreboard in the leadoff spot, and he's sort of the guy that can do that. So let's see how that goes. And obviously pitching is the big storyline. How long do they let Dutton go? Do we see Blake Money tonight as well? For a lot of these guys, this could be a bullpen day. And if it's a bullpen day and you're going to throw anyway, just let them go throw in the game. If it's an inning, 2 innings, whatever it is, more probably a pitch count type thing. But, yeah, I would love to see Dutton and certainly Money, if he gets in, love to see him throw well tonight. And maybe get a little bit of confidence and mojo back, to build toward the weekend and toward the postseason, where they're going to need as many competent arms as they have, especially if you don't have starting pitching that's going to go deep into ball games. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out our final break of the show. We'll come back, do Otter Locks. Jimmy will join us, tell us what we're betting on tonight. Tigers and Lions, 6:30 first pitch. You can watch it on SEC Network Plus. You can listen to it on our sister station, Eagle 98.1. Plus, ton of NBA action, NHL playoffs, MLB. Ton to bet on tonight. We'll find out where we're laying the money next on AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Baton Rouge General Hospital, brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org for the Baton Rouge General Hospital. Remember, Baton Rouge General also has their express care locations. That's 7-day-a-week walk-in urgent care over at the Baton Rouge General Hospital. You can check in online. You can even check wait times online or on the Baton Rouge General app. So if it's more convenient, just download the Baton Rouge General app. You'll see where you can check in online, and then there's also the wait times tab right there. So right now, no wait at any of the 3 locations. That's Dutchtown, right next to Dutchtown High School. And then there's the Highland Road location just through the south gates of LSU. And the Nicholson location directly across from Tiger Stadium, right next to Torchy's. It is express care, walk-in urgent care, 7 days a week at the Baton Rouge General Express Care locations. If it's allergies or animal bites, fever or flu, even stitches and sore throats, it's the Baton Rouge General Express Care locations.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law offices of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Come on over to Corval Toyota to pre-order your next vehicle, and you'll never pay over MSRP. Browse, reserve, pick up, and enjoy. It's that simple. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Bayou Ford has 0% for 60 months on new Ford F-150s, plus $500 bonus cash. We have new 2022 F-150s on our lot now. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her Auctioner primary care doctor.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Tuesday edition of AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Better coverage for less money, 293-0450 or lainsurance.net. All right, one thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Bocage Barbershop in Bocage Village. Serving the Bocage, Goodwood, and Town Center area since 1959.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Ott Father himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
Doing fantastic. Back home today. My stomping ground. Right around the corner. You coming to see me on the way home? Right on the way.
Right on Tuesday.
Natchez.
Natchez. Okay. Well, I'm thinking maybe the Burnside salad. Natchez, not around the corner. When you said you're heading home, I didn't know if you're maybe talking about the West Bank. Shaw Eagles, by the way, they fall at the hands of the Catholic High Bears.
Yeah, well.
Jesuits next. Take that, Gordy.
I'm an Episcopal dad now, so, that's all we can do.
It's always still your alma mater.
It is. It sure is. So they get run rules in the playoffs. Not real promising. We got a lot of stuff today.
All right, what we got?
Stuff. All right, Sixers +3 against Miami. It was 3.5 early. Dipped to 2.5 some places. We're taking 3 tonight. Embiid, how about these two games tonight? 8-0. Home team, 8-0 straight up and against the spread. That's just too much. We're going to go the other way with the Sixers. Player prop in tonight's game, the late game with Phoenix and Dallas. Again, home teams 4-0 straight up and against the spread. Chris Paul, over 16.5 points. So kind of at this point, at 37 years old, he's got to pick his spots. He can't just every game, give 100%. Charles Barkley's been very focused on the studio show for TNT, talking about that a lot. So he intimidated the 15-year-old little silver spoon kid in Dallas. So he's feeling good. Confidence is up, and so now he can take care of business.
Hey, man, you're 15 or not. You mess with the man's family you're asking for, bro.
There's a lot of blame to go around, and I mean, come on, people. I mean, what are we doing here? So anyway, the mom, the kid, Paul. I mean, you name it, whatever. So anyway, over 16.5 there. I have not heard from Colucci yet.
Okay.
But he is very sporadic. He did come in after we talked last night. It was right after they dropped the puck in the Penguins, and he went 2-0 last night. He's been riding the Carolina Hurricanes. Here in Natchez, I asked him to. They're betting the Boston Bruins. Carolina, he bet them to win the series. That series also is 4-0. The home teams in that one as well. How about that? NHL and NBA, we got 6 Game 5, and all 6 series are 2 apiece tonight. So we got some action. Here's MLB.
All right.
You ready?
Yep.
All right, Kyle Wright. Remember Kyle Wright?
Absolutely.
Bandy, top five pick. Horrible start to his career. 4 years, abbreviated first year, but then 30. He just not good. I mean, 6 ERA here, 8 ERA for the season here. He's going on fire. He's developed a new pitch. He is, and he's not like he's chump change again, a top 5 pick, but he has been lights out. Boston's been a big fade team. They're number 2 from the bottom, so number 29 on return of investment. They're on the road. It's a modest price, $1.30, $1.35. Kyle Wright for the Atlanta Braves, and then the Phillies and Seattle. You got to going to really have some onions to bet the overs right now in the MLB, where they're down so many runs. But this one, Philly, it's got a Robbie Ray. Well, he's the reigning Cy Young Award winner, but that's more the outlier than it is sort of, what he's been over his career. He's having a modest start this year in the middle fours with his ERA. Look for the Phillies to score a lot of runs again tonight, going over 7. Aaron Nola on the hill tonight for the Philadelphia Phillies.
All right. Hey, give me the pick again with the Braves and the Red Sox.
Atlanta.
Okay, you like Atlanta.
Kyle Wright.
Okay.
Yeah, picking Atlanta for the game.
Okay.
Minus $1.30 to $1.38, somewhere in there.
I'm looking at $1.45 on DraftKings.
Okay, it's climbed.
So
that's
why I was, because the Sox are plus $1.25. So that's why I was making.
Here we go. As we speak, Colucci man's coming in.
All right.
Here we go.
Let's go.
Maple Leafs.
All right.
And the Kings.
All right.
Maple Leafs, okay, in
Toronto and LA. All right.
In double digits. So, little baseball, little hockey, little basketball. Got a horse race going?
Why not? You want me to go race Paul in the parking lot? We get some action on it. All right, Adam, we gotta go up there in Natchez. See you. Be good. All right. Game Time with Jimmy Ott follows us in Baton Rouge. If you're not in Baton Rouge, online at 1045ESPN.com or the Game Time with Jimmy Ott Facebook page. Muse, you learn anything?
Yeah, Mike Bray's cousin's uncle's brother or something said the Power Five's not separated.
Something like that. Paulie.
Tom Brady could get more in the booth than in the quarterback room.
Kalbrosky loves Tari Eason. See you tomorrow.
AFR.
HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. Do business with someone you know. That's us at HUDCO Roofing. Doing a beautiful home, new roof in U Club today. Homeowner didn't even know he had roof damage. Called us, sent a field inspector, got up on the roof, and you know what? Filed that claim and got it approved. You could be next. Give us a call. 364-1007, 364-1007, or HUDCOroofing.com. Do business with someone you know. HUDCOroofing.com.
HUDCO Roofing. HUDCO Roofing. When you need a roof, call someone you know. Moscona, Ontario.
All you need is HUDCO.
HUDCO Roofing. HUDCO Roofing. Call HUDCO Roofing. 364-1007. Roofing. HUDCO Roofing. HUDCO Roofing.
The 2022 Smoke 'em If You Got 'em, presented by Mockler Beverage, is almost here. Smoke 'em If You Got 'em is an event that raises money to support military veterans and their families. Tickets are $100, and this year's event benefits the Special Forces Charitable Trust. Come enjoy live music, a grill station, a cigar station, a dessert station, a live and silent auction, and so much more. It's the 2022 Smoke 'em If You Got 'em fundraiser, presented by Mockler Beverage, Sunday, May 22nd at Bent 77. Learn more at smokeembr.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink special.